Good evening, everyone. How is everyone doing tonight? It is December 30th. That means the year is almost over, and welcome to the Bridge of the Divide end of the year live stream. So, I it's been a year, and I figured I would do one of these. I'm going to admit, I don't really have much of a plan for this live stream. I have some stuff that maybe we can talk about. I've sent out some invites in case some people want to join. So I don't know if they will, because it's even though this was scheduled ahead of time. But welcome to this live stream. If this is your first time here, I am JL, and this is kind of, I guess, it's kind of like a chill and reminisce and talk about stuff, and whatever stuff that happened in 2024, reminisce there, or talk about stuff that may happen in 2025. And I have no idea where the conversation is going to go. But I fully intended this just to be kind of like a hangout, chill out, because I hadn't done a live stream in a while. The last one I did was the Stage of Reason, which was back on like December 17th or something like that. So, and the next one I have is scheduled is going to be in January. So I figured, this is the end of the year one that I always do. I do a Halloween one, I do an end of the year one, and wanted to hang out and say hi to everybody, catch up with everyone, see what's going on, give people updates as to what's going on, around here. And, there's also, some stuff I want to talk about as far as this channel goes. This channel's still staying here. So I'm just like, but, for the future, as I'm closing in on 10K, I was hoping I could at least break 9 before the end of the year, but we got close. Doesn't sound like I'm using the right one. 1 second. Let me check. No, it's the right one. Maybe I'm low. No, that's not it. Is that better? Is that better? Yeah, I'm set on the right one. I sound very far away. Oh, wait. I think I know what happened. 1 second. These stupid freaking. Yeah, I see what happened. Hang on. Test. I think we're good there. No, this should have been. That should be disabled. Okay. Okay, that should be there. All right, test. How's that? Is that better? It's just me. Well, it sounds okay to me. I've got my sound playing here, and my levels look good. I'm not spiking. So let's try that. Is that better? Is that? That should be okay. It's the same, which is great. Cool. Yeah. Is that the mic? That is the mic that is on. Yeah, it's this one. This one is in front of me. Okay. Apparently I sound fine. So, like, Raven Darkster, thank you so much. Sound fine to me, but thank you, Alana. Let me say hi to some people got in the chat real quick for, in case a bunch of people pour in. Ollie Man, good to see you. Raven Darkstar, good to see you as well. Thanks so much for being here. Eminem, good to see you. And I do like that bumper sticker idea. What do you think of a bumper sticker that says you're not illiterate? That is cute. I like that very much. Cindy Johnson, Robert Biter, good to see you both. Aaron Reese, what psycho made you a moderator here? I did. I made you a moderator, as well as Raven Darkstar. I made you both moderators. I choose my moderators very carefully. So maybe it's because I'm a psycho. I have no idea. But yes, I made you moderator. Adam Strange, good to see you. This was at my Globetards and Heretics. Good to see you, Adam. As well as Michael Bell, good to see you. Earth Skater 13, who's 10 a.m. for them. Very cool. It's a little after 7 here. Sergius Maximus is here. Says hello, heathens. First time. Welcome, Sergius. Thank you so much for being here. Let me see. Rasheen is here. Good to see you. Elizabeth S as well says, hey, JL in chat. Good to see you, Elizabeth. Dan Shire. Just put your seatbelts on. Here comes 2025. Yep, absolutely. Skeptic Tank, good to see you. I have not seen Nosferatu yet. The last one I watched, the last thing I've watched was, now that I don't have to watch horror movies, I'm not required to watch them like every week. I watch them when I want to now. And the last one I watched was Heretic. So, which made my top 5 of 2024. My top 5 horror films 2024. Heretic was definitely in there. So, but yep. There was a new one, Earth Skater. Robert Eggers came out with a new one with Willem Dafoe and Bill Skarsgård and Lily Rose Depp. So, but yeah, really good stuff. Let me see here. And I thought, I've heard things about Nosferatu. I've heard top, like you're gonna absolutely love it, or it's kind of like middling. You know, not the best, like an excellent visual, like visually stunning film, but maybe not the best. So I'll judge it when I see it. So I really don't go off the critics on that one. Speedy Romans, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Ryan Donovan as well, good to see you. Scott Duke says, I bid thee hearty and heartfelt greetings and extend to the best wishes for a prosperous new year. How thou regardest prosperity. Thank you so much, Scott. I appreciate that. Happy New Year to you as well. Wrote in last name is here. Gabba to you, sir. Thanks so much for being here. And apparently, yep, thinks the mic should be good to go. My dog at the cable, but you never know. The little one. I think we're good to go. I think I caught everybody. S. Thurston 2 is here. So if you can't read this, you are illiterate. I like that one too. I do. All right. Lana Hader, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Dr. Nimrod as well. Good to see you. Andrew Christopherson, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Pablo Murphy. Oh, my pleasure, Pablo. Says, thank you for making this channel. I'm learning quite a bit. Thank you very, very much. There's the Kermit Thorson, good to see you as well. There's some stuff I want to jump in there. Just saw ads for that. Nice. So there's a bunch of stuff, you know. First and foremost, I wanted to do kind of like a chill stream, Q&A. If there are people here who are like believers, or they have questions for me in the chat, feel free to throw them in the chat. I will try and catch them. Obviously, anything that comes through is like a super thing, that comes through with that's tagged by the system. I'll obviously see very quickly, but I will keep my eyes open. So I kind of want to do a Q&A and kind of wanted to query the audience as well, query you guys as well as to, stuff to do for, in the future. Have I watched Planet Peterson? Yes, I have watched Planet Peterson. I actually had Eric on on a stage divide with me. That was a really, really good, really good episode, even though he couldn't stay the whole time. But that was a really, really fun one. Eric is great. I love his style. He's quite hilarious and a bit more acerbic than I am, because he does it as much for the lulz as he does it for, exposing, irrationality and silly nonsense. So I think he goes a little bit harder in the paint than I do on my content, even though I've gotten quite a bit of feedback about a lot of people think, he's big PP energy is what he is. Thank you, Aaron. So I've got a lot of feedback since I'm getting closer to 10K. I've been getting more what you would call hate comments, or angry people in a sense, and so which is good because I'd love to be able to do a read the comments video. That would be like everybody else does. I'd like to do that. That would be a lot of fun. But a lot of people, being like, why are you so antagonistic, or why are you so insulting, or why are you're always poking the bear or something like this? That's supposed to bridge the divide and stuff like this. And I don't think I go that hard. I guess I recognize some people are more sensitive than others, but what are you going to do? I don't plan on changing my style anytime soon. It's my style. It's what defines me. But as far as the big question, I got a question here. Skeptic Dank for $4.99. Thank you so much. Says, in 2025, what are the main denominational differences Christian nationalists will start tearing each other apart about? So given what's going on nowadays, there are, I think, fundamentally, there's one denomination that really, really stands out as far as fundamentalist, extremist Christian nationalism, and that's obviously the Baptist faith. The Baptists have always had their history. When I was born into and raised Methodist, and the Methodists have a long history of bad blood between the Baptists. The Baptists have bad blood with a lot of people. So if I were to point to any one particular denomination that would be the most problematic, it would probably be the Baptists. And especially with individuals like the new independent fundamentalist Baptists, the new IFB. If you remember back to the 90s, the Branch Davidians were they were an offshoot of the Baptist Church. So the Baptists have this kind of like this history or a really bad habit of churning out cult-like offshoots all the time, and it's just, I guess they're prone to that. If you can be too extreme for Baptists, so you go off and do your own kind of Baptist thing. The same thing would happen with the Presbyterians when Van Til broke off and did his whole Reformed Presbyterian stuff, which is where he gave us presuppositional apologetics. But I would say the Baptist attacking others is probably what we'll see a lot of. We already see a bunch of it now. But the Baptist attacking others, most especially the Catholics and the Eastern Orthodox, will probably be a big thing. And you'll probably see the Baptist, and see, that's what's weird, is that already we're seeing divisions within other denominations going progressive or conservative. It's what's happening with the Methodist Church right now. The Methodist Church is currently suffering its own schism, going right and going left. My mother is part of the Methodist Church, and apparently it really, from what I understand, it kind of broke her up a bit. And I think she's swinging on the progressive side. I honestly don't know, but I know that my mother really loved her church, and she loves that church. And when that schism took place, and apparently it was really, really ugly internally when that happened. There were the lines drawn were really, really fast and kind of like surprising. Well, it wouldn't be surprising to me, but it was surprising to her to see all of a sudden people that she considered, close friends, all of a sudden, there it is. So it's kind of an ugly split. We're probably going to see more of that as we get progressively more and more into 2025. And it won't be the cause of it, but something that will facilitate it is, I think, will be the Trump presidency. Will facilitate that kind of rhetoric and that kind of division that we really would like to hope to avoid. But I think it's inevitable, is what it is. You can't have that kind of extreme rhetoric coming out of the top office of the country and not expect it to filter down into extremist groups who are going to go different ways. It's going to be nuts. Now, I really think so. Yeah, Aaron, it's okay. I forgive you. I Killed Earl. Good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Raven is starting to feel like Week in Horror. I won't lie. I miss Week in Horror. There were so many big things that took place in 2024. And we'll definitely jump on. We're going to jump on some stuff. We're going to do some stuff. First and foremost, make sure I didn't miss anybody. Angel Gamer, good to see you. And opinion. Oh, I see. Kermit Thomas says opinion on epistemicism. Epistemicism. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correct. Why am I not recognizing that word? That's an excellent thing. Epistivist? Epistivism? Is that what you're? I want to make sure. Oh no, it jumped on me. I hate it when the chat jumps on me. I know that came in. Where was that? Oh, there we go. Kermit Horson. Epistivism. Epistivist. Okay, probably likely I haven't come across it. The word is rare, particularly in the context of religion. New word suggestion: epistivist or apistivist, a person who does not use faith to know things, especially in a religious sense. I would say that. Okay, so I myself don't use faith. I reject faith at all, because faith is an emotion-based position. It's not a rational position. It's it doesn't focus on evidence. It focuses on what you want to be true, what you hope to be true, or desire to be true, or wish to be true. So I don't use faith, and I think faith should be rejected. That faith is one of the worst things, and because faith is an unreliable mechanism for getting to the truth in any context. Okay, and even worse, when even conjoined with what is presented as evidence, it can skew the interpretation of the evidence, because faith will always be your emotions that will always dictate how you internalize the evidence being presented. So if you have faith in a position and you hold that to be true, then that can color how you interpret, how you internalize the information that's being presented to you, or the information that you find. So I would definitely be an epistivist. That would definitely describe me. I think it's the way to go. My opinion on it would be that would be the most intellectually honest way to go. If the individual is interested in what is actually true instead of what they want to be true. And Aaron Ray says Southern Baptists in particular. Yes, Southern Baptists in particular. Is Ken Copeland a demon in a human costume? I thought he was a human in a demon costume. That's what I thought, Adam. And I think Carter was a Baptist, if I remember correctly. I think he was. Was he Baptist or was he? Yep, he was a lifelong Baptist. He was. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Steve Weber, good to see you. Steve was I grew up in a progressive Methodist church. I saw signs of potential rift sometime. I got out like years ago. I left the church. I officially left the church in, I would say, 94. I say 94 and 95. I would say I officially left the church. After talking and with the blessing of my pastor, to use that term kind of loosely, but he did not fight. Like, he recognized where I was at. We were, there's one thing I always really appreciated was how honest I could be with my pastor at the time, with Pastor Jack. And he was like, if this is where you feel you need to go, this is where you feel you need to go. And he didn't fight me tooth and nail on it. And he didn't like, you're going to go to hell. He didn't throw like idle threats at me. He was like, everyone has their own journey. Okay. Determine yours. I'm not going to determine it for you. And I was like, it was the most amicable split I think you could ever experience coming out of a religion. I would say it was his way of leaving the door open, which was, I think the kindest thing he could do, especially when, at that age, especially when I was at that age. So, yeah. Let me see. Yep, Bridge. Okay, awesome. Yep. Make sure the chat is just screaming by. Commander Darklight for 20 Australian. Thank you so much, Commander Darklight. I appreciate that. With a big heart to you, sir. It's good to see you. Tony Regine says, try explaining the logical fallacies rather than simply saying that's X fallacy. Many of the people who ask questions on stage of reason aren't familiar with debate terminology. Excellent point. You see, okay, so this is interesting. And really quick before I dive into that, Tony Regime said, Turing Test has been a member of the Godless Army for 40 months. 40 months. Thank you so much, Turing Test 2. You rock. I appreciate your support. You're amazing. You're amazing. Tony Regime says, try explaining the logical fallacies. So early in my content, I never wanted to assume that everybody knew what I was talking about, where I would just throw stuff around. So I did put the text up. So I put the text up and I tried to make sure it was up long enough and it was concise enough that people could read. Sometimes it was kind of dense. And I know there was a lot of people could go back on the rewatch and pause it if they wanted to. I had no problem people pausing the content to read the stuff. It's all good. But I would try to explain it there, And then I started getting lots of feedback about. It was all like there were some people saying that there was a bunch of feedback saying that I was dumbing things down too much and that was like slowing things down. And so I figured at a certain point, people would be familiar enough with my content that I would be able to say what a thing was if someone was begging the question, or if something was non sequitur, affirming the consequent, or doing something of that nature, that they would know what I was talking about. They may have learned along with my content, but I could be mistaken on that as well. And I don't want to leave anybody out in the cold. So I can definitely go back and, when necessary, I can try to balance that out. So excellent suggestion there, Tony. I can do better on expressing the information there, instead of trying to cater to what all the friggin' comments are demanding of me, because there's a lot of push. Being pulled in all multiple directions as to what people want. Angel Gamer's been a member of the Godless Army for 3 months. Thank you so much, Angel. You rock. I appreciate that support. Hey, PhD Tony, good to see you. Pablo Murphy says, please like the show. It helps the YouTube algorithm. Yes, it does. Thank you so much, Pablo. I do appreciate that. Pinworm for 5. Freedom Dollars says, hey there, I'm in the past catching up. Hope all is well. Thank you so much, Pinworm. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the support there. And make sure I didn't... Yeah, Suit Kettle, good to see you. It says, miss yours and Johnny's streams. I sent Johnny an invite just in case. Just in case he was free. He may be working. I don't know. So I sent him there's background stuff, Johnny's dealing with, things that are going on that he's got to prioritize and focus on. I sent him an invite just in case, just to give him a break if he wanted to come out and hang out and chat. It's totally up to him if he wants to join. I know he's got a lot of things going on in the last of his mind, plus the holidays and everything. So it's out there. But if he's able to, he'll be welcome. If not, then I completely understand. I Killed Earl has been a member for 17 months. Thank you so much, I Killed Earl. Appreciate that. You rock. Thank you very much for that support. 49 watching, but only 22 likes. Yes, smush the like button consensually. I do appreciate that. So one of the big things, Professor Dave did a set of videos on fallacies. He did, where he was going through them well. So, and by the way, concerning fallacies, I may actually have something in the works that I kind of stumbled into that I will announce more about later on. That I don't know where it's going to go, but it's saying. It came off to me when it was presented to me. It sounded like a really cool idea, and I've never seen anything like it, out there. But I think it might be neat, and it would be in something that me and the person that I'm working with may end up publishing. We don't know. It's kind of like in the early stages, but I think it's something really, really cool. Which may I don't know where it's going to play out, but it seems neat to me. So one of the first things that kind of came across, that there's feedback that I've been getting in that, is that the thumbnails for my video is the first big question that I've got. And thumbnails wise, I always like my thumbnails because I like minimal stuff. I'm personally not a fan of like gaudy things that are deliberately designed to pop out at your face. I personally don't like them. And that's just me. When I'm looking at something, I don't like to be directed in what I'm looking at. I like to be able to look at it. Now, I understand drawing people's eyes to stuff, points of interest, and that's important to do. But I don't like having the entire, I don't like pop art and shit that was just like in your face. I'm just not a fan. So I like to be at least have some level of investment in what I'm looking at. And so I wanted to go minimal. I wanted to go minimally with very simple deal, a background. Take it easy, Aaron. Have a great one. With a background, an image of the subject that I'm talking about, and the title. Okay, and the title's typically kind of glib, and the background will provide some sort of hint as to what's happening, as to what the content is going to be about. So there'd be like some sort of like visual hint there. That's what I do. But I've gotten some I guess the number one, the feedback is on the font. The font people seem to have an issue with. And I did a poll on the channel some time ago where the font that I use for my thumbnails is called Skull and Void. And I happen to like it. I think it looks good, and I think it looks good with the border, what the hell do they call it? The stroke effect. I happen to really like that one, but I can change it. I'd always be open to change if people like seeing that change. But I did a poll where people seem to dig the Skull and Void one because they dissociated it with me. And so the minute they saw that font, because nobody else is using it, at least not that I've seen, they immediately associate that with me. So the association was good. It was a good reinforcement that this is from JL, But apparently, I guess other people don't like it, or it's not popular in the algorithm. So my curiosity, I guess font is important. And I guess the imagery is important. Now, my images are, the background, like I said, the backgrounds that I use are intended to elicit thought and to visually reflect something in the content of the video. Then I have the image of the subject, the person I'm addressing, forefront, boom, there's their face. And then I've got the title, which stands out, I always make sure stands out really far from the background, so it's very obvious, what you're seeing. Now, Raven Dark says, do not change a bloody thing. Okay, and BS Lou says, have you considered Comic Sans? I can give it a look. I can definitely give it a look. I've given a look to other fonts. I just really, really like the Skull and Void. I do. And I don't really see a reason to change it unless the community would say, like, we need better stuff. We need a better looking thumbnail to get you more popular in the algorithm or something. I have no idea. If like trying to amass, if I think it's a balance. Oh, it was a joke. Okay, BS. Gotcha. It's a joke. I gotcha. I'm following. So I it's a balance between trying to put out content that is the quality of content and popular content. And I've been more focused on the quality of the content rather than just putting out popular stuff or something that to whatever. I understand feeding the algorithm and doing shit like that, but I like to put out content that I want to put out. That may not be conducive to making tons of money on YouTube, but then again, if I was trying to do this to get rich, that would be a completely different story, but I'm not interested in milking people for their money. I'm more interested in people getting information that maybe some other people don't want them to have. So I guess if there's a reason to change it, then I will. I Kill the Earl says, don't change a thing. And I'm assuming BS Lewis also like, don't change a thing either. So I'd say dumb too much. The algorithms dumb too much. The algorithm zaps me up. Let us know. So that I don't think I'm going to worry about it for right now. I think I'm doing just fine. I think one of my last videos, it came out like last week, had like 17,000 views, which is I think the most watched video on my channel, which is pretty awesome. It was like 17 and a half before it almost got I was like, maybe this will hit 20, but I don't know. But I think I'll stick with it because it seems to be working. Skeptic Dank for $4.99 says, you think Trump will stop the TikTok ban? I got 3.2K followers and they're on my wizard cosplay account, Dimitri the Wanderer. Nice plug. And I don't know. I can tell you whatever Trump does, I won't be surprised. Nothing that piece of shit will ever surprise me. He could be we could literally wake up one morning and there'd be photos of him butt naked eating a squirrel on the White House lawn. And it would not shock me. It would not surprise me. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens if he does. If the TikTok ban goes through, I mean, I know some people who are really big on TikTok, like Planet Peterson for one, who is weighing what to do if that ban goes through. And all of a sudden they lose TikTok. So I don't know. PhD Tony says, fonts and thumbnails, greatest New Year's stream ever. It's not over yet, Tony. Give me a break. So Adam Strange says, don't change anything. I'm getting the idea that I shouldn't change anything. Could you show more skin? You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. Even 110 pounds down, you don't want to see that. Ugh. Let me see. Do reviews of two idiot theists and give it the title an in-depth look at a pair of tits. Oh, I like that. And I could put birds on there. The tits. They could be like the two birds. That would be funny. Azo, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here tonight. Let me see who else. Make sure anybody new came in. Earthskater 13. Oh, thank you so much. Lose the weight. Yeah, I don't really have any anymore. No, but I don't. Cut off muscle shirt. I actually have one that I work out. I have my workout shirt in there, but I'm not gonna. No. So congratulations, Angel Gamer, down 105. Well done. Well done. I killed it. It was like you lost a whole me. And then I still have more to lose. I'm not that far from my goal, from where I want to be. But I'm plateauing in this area where it's like, yeah, it's really annoying. I don't want to have to resort to anything synthetic in order to get myself down there. I want to do it naturally, but I'm 44, closing at 45. And yes, I know, PhD Tony, you're much older. I can hear you saying it. And many some others, but like your basal metabolic rate drops, and so I'm just pushing as hard as I can to get there, slowly but surely. I like the fact that you can bottle and sell your sweat from your workouts. Oh, fucking nasty, gross. Do I look like Belle? Do I look like what is it, Belle? What the fuck was her name? Totally forgotten about her. You know what I'm talking about, the I don't want to be horny anymore. I just want to be happy. The South African girl. What the hell? I can't remember. Belle. I think it was Belle something. Yeah, I can't remember. No, she's not Japanese. Belle Delphine. Thank you. Belle Delphine. Thank you, Raven. Yes, Belle Delphine, who bottled her bath water and sold it. and sold her bathwater. And then there was like reports of people who bought it and drank it and like wound up in the hospital. So yeah, people buying her bathwater to drink it. Oh, she could have gotten that shit out of the gutter for all we know. But yeah, she legit got people sick. So I will say this: Belle Delphine had a great marketing thing going on, playing off to the weebs, and she was making bank off the weebs, like crazy bank. Money was rolling in with her little little anime girl shtick that she had going on when she first kicked off. The minute she was doing good, she was doing great. The minute she switched to prawn, she dropped, she vanished, and that was it. I haven't heard shit out of her. So the minute she switched to adult entertainment, boom, she was done. So it happens. Ollie Man says, "What if Trump comes out with the best healthcare plan for everyone? Would shock you, wouldn't it?" No, because I know it wouldn't be him that did it. So that's the kicker, is that Trump's behavior has left nothing that he does himself shocking. Any policies that he implements, it's not him behind them. It's the people all working underneath him that are going to come out with that stuff. He's not drafting shit. That guy is eating McDonald's, playing golf, and staring at the sun. That is what that asshole is doing. And I think it's hilarious that this whole idea that like Musk is actually going to be the president, because he's got the control, he's the billionaire, and Trump is just a puppet, which I've been talking about for years now, that Trump is just a puppet for the powers behind him. Technero says, "It's my birthday on 1/1. I'll be 42. I will gain the ultimate knowledge as soon as." Yes, you will. You will gain the ultimate knowledge. You absolutely will. And you're right, Raven. Prawn killed her image. It absolutely killed her image. So, yeah, Kermit, I know Musk is illegal. Musk can't run for president because he's not a natural or a natural born citizen, but he's the power behind the throne. He'll be one of the powers behind the throne. And so there will be a lot of influence in that direction. So because Trump is just a puppet that everybody's got their hand up his ass, just making him go blah 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 blah. Because of that, then the power will be the money, and the money will pretty much lie with Musk. It's pretty much what it is. And then bought an H-1B visa. Yeah, he's a douche. His whole thing about like immigration is coming back to bite him in the ass. It's hilarious. As far as politics goes, I was pretty much done. I don't know about all of you. I was pretty much done after the election. I was so worn out. I was so exhausted that I unsubscribed from the channels I subscribed to. I still like, all the guys. I still get recommendations every once in a while. Midas Touch and David Packman and Brian Taylor Cohen and a number of others. But I just unsubscribed. I couldn't do it anymore. I'm just at this point right now. This country's going to get what it deserves. It's going to get everything it deserves, and I will sit back and when my number comes up to do something as a citizen, then my number will come up to something as a citizen, and then but I'm just not engaging anymore. I'm just done, So it's just I'm not going to be the guy that's going to sit there when the chimpanzees start, whinging about, but what about this? But what about this? But what about that? And I'm not going to be the guy that says, "I told you so," because we tried to warn them. They got it, that's pretty much it. So at this point, I'm going to do my thing, and we'll ride this tsunami as best we can. Hopefully we don't get pulled under. Matsu Manuka, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Benjamin Costello as well. Good to see you. Kermit Thorson says, "I will be a glad senior in the coming revolution." Yeah, I have no idea, but you can guarantee it will be televised. It absolutely will. So, other stuff that I was curious about, this year, so another thing I'm kind of on track because I didn't really have a structure for this live stream. I really didn't. I just kind of like them going. So yeah, but keep the questions coming in if you got questions, especially if you're a believer. If you're a believer, watching this, then I'd love to hear what you believe and why. I'd love to answer questions. That's my bread and butter. That's where I really flourish. Bunch of cool stuff. And of course, I'm always up for channel suggestions, or if people want to suggest like a video to go look at. I do have a Discord channel, the Bridge the Divide Discord. The link is in the description, or the link will be in the description as soon as I edit it. But the link is in the description of other videos, and you can join me there, and you can drop video suggestions on the channel if you want me to go and check out and look at it. And of course, there are rooms to talk to talk to others, and all kinds of cool stuff that I've set up now that we're more focused on this channel instead of Week in Horror. Speaking of which, the Week in Horror store will be closing at the end of the year, so I will be shutting that down. This will be the end of that, and I wanted to stretch it out till Christmas time, in case anybody wanted to get some last minute deals as far as the Week in Horror merch. Everything was available. All the limited edition T-shirts were available there. All the mugs, all the drinkware, the camping mug, all the cool stuff. But that will be closing down at the end of the year. So that stuff will be, once that's gone, that's in the vault, and I don't know if ever it will be back. So all the puzzles, all the cool stuff, that will be gone. I have not played Baldur's Gate 3, Ollie man. The only PC game I play is right now that I really have time for is World of Warcraft. So I play that. And I'm kind of quite happy I played it because I'm top of my game right now, like legit top of my game, which makes me very, very happy. So I think I'm, the last I checked on my ranking, I'm top 5% on my server, which is really, really nice because I rarely get the opportunity, but I got into this one and I at the top because the mess up thing was I got early access to the latest expansion, and so the early access to the latest expansion gave me like a 1 week head start on everybody else. Whereas I think it was like 4 or 5 days, and so I got a massive head start going into the expansion and just started crushing it. And now I'm like, the only thing I haven't cleared is the mythic of the latest dungeon. I've done everything else, but I'm like top notch. I'm like up there as far as that goes. That makes me happy. You only have time for WoW. Do you ever sleep? Well, that's the thing about WoW, is that once you get done with major story progression, then there's pretty much just grinding. And then there's only specific things I like to grind. I grind things one at a time. So I'll go in, do the daily thing. Takes maybe 15, 20 minutes, and then I'm out. Or maybe I'll be hunting for a rare. So I'll log in and I'll sit in one place, wait for a spawn. Once it's done, then I'm done. So I pop in every once in a while. Because when you're in the grind phase, you can just pop in, pop out, pop in, pop out. It's really, really easy. It's when you're doing the story content, when new content drops, that's when the heavy investment is. When you play for 10 hours straight or 12 hours. Reminds me when I first got into the game. There was times I went like a full day where I would forget to eat. I was so into the game. So, hire someone from China to do it for you. Dude, that would be awesome. Commander Darklight's addicted to Fortnite. Nice. I will not judge you, sir. I will not judge you. Tony James says, "No, one thing you haven't done since you got on your WoW kick, sir." I'm just gonna tell you straight up. 1 second. So I have it sitting right here. Oh, you saw the light, because it's white. You just saw it pop up. I have the guising right here. So I do. Okay. It's like right there and red. I just haven't had a chance to sit down and go feedback on it like that because I want to make sure that it's concise. So I haven't. I'm not going to say anything else because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody else. But right there, I have it on my. I know you couldn't see it. It's silly, but I did open up the text page, so I do have it like that. It's not. It's not at all. Okay, we'll get into. Like I said, when I've had the opportunity. Remember, December was a nose to the grindstone month for me. You saw how many videos I churned out in December. I was trying to make that final push towards 10K, like really trying to push. So it was like content. So if I was in the office if I was in the office, I was pretty much recording or editing, and even to the annoyance of Angela, to the annoyance of my wife. She was like, because we had plans. We had her company, the company Christmas party to go to, dinner with her parents, some traveling, like this. But if I was not out there handling shit, I was in here, to all hours of the night. So, or taking care of the dog, shit like this. But on her weekends, she didn't really see me that much. And so, because I was in here working, she understands. But that was pretty much it. Just trying to crank out December as best I can. I saw Crafty Keela here. Good to see you, Crafty, lurking over there. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate that. You rock. Oh, there's a lot of judgment for a lot of judgment, Commander Darklight. I see it. A lot of judgment in there. But good to see you, Crafty. Thanks so much for hanging out. Captain Button, good to see you. Appreciate you being here. But Tony, yeah, I've got it here. And so we will get there. Okay. So like I said, end of the year has always been kind of crazy. Raven Darkstar, I promise you it does not move. But he is wearing his Santa hat right now. So he is wearing a Santa hat for the season. But yeah, so we'll get there. I promise you. Let me see. Make sure I didn't miss nobody. My Little Pony is 55% off at Steam at this moment. So Adam Strange says, have you watched Deconstruction Zone? Yes, I've watched some of his content. I don't. I know he does the vertical strain. I think he's on TikTok, same as Eric Peterson is, where he basically engages like Jesus wasn't God or something like that. The dude's theological knowledge is very, very impressive. He's hard. There's a difference. Oh, thank you so much, Crafty. He says popping in early before bed. It's nearly 2 a.m. here, so happy Hogmanay from Taddy. Oh. Yeah, from Taddy, and Happy New Year from me and Kiddo. Awesome. Thank you so much, Crafty. You rock. So here's the kicker. The big difference between someone like me and someone like Deconstruction Zone is that I don't focus on theology. And there's a very specific reason as to why. And I know Deconstruction Zone does a great job at diving into like his knowledge of the Bible is I don't know many people whose I know Raven. I don't know many people who know the Bible as well as he does. No atheists know the Bible as well as he does. Even some like I would say even better than like Paulogia or even Matt Dillahunty. I think Deconstruction Zone is top notch. He's up there. And so but I don't address theology in the way I look at it. Theology as a whole, the entire field of it, and that contains everything hermeneutics, theodicies, all the stuff that goes around like this, is completely irrelevant. I don't feel it needs to be addressed, and that getting lost in the weeds of theology is essentially getting lost in the problem of hermeneutics and how you're interpreting the text. And because there is no objectively concrete way to interpret the Bible, then you can run around in circles arguing interpretations all day long. Okay, you can refer back to the Septuagint, you can refer back to the ancient Hebrew text. If you're doing with the Old Testament, you can refer back to all kinds of stuff. Ultimately, it's going to come down to interpretations. And that's not a field that I want to get lost in. Yes, he does. He has a master's in I think he went to seminary. I'm pretty sure he went to seminary, and he's got a master's in biblical. Can't remember. I know he said before, but nonetheless, while I understand he enjoys that and exposing these kinds of things, in the long term, I don't see it affecting much change because people are always going to argue on their interpretations. Me, I kind of like to go for the throat, and the throat is the core precept or the core concept that underlies all of the entirety of theology, and that is, does the thing exist? Because if the God does not exist, then the entire field of theology built upon it is completely irrelevant. So we must address the existence of the entity that everything is built on before we can address what is being built on that entity. That's been my take, and so that's why I go after that. Because if they can't defend if they claim that they know it exists and they can't defend that, then their theology is irrelevant, because the theology essentially assumes that it exists in the first place. So we have different styles. We approach it differently, just like Peterson approaches it differently. I would say I'm similar to Logic. I'm similar to Professor Plink. Whereas he's akin to, if I'm thinking like that, he's in line with, I would say, like Alex O'Connor, with more in theology, but Alex goes really more to the philosophy side of it, but Alex knows his Bible as well. So he's more on the Alex O'Connor side. I'm more on the Logic side, and not as extreme or not as acerbic as Planet Peterson. So we all kind of like our spectrum of that. What do I think of Hemet Meta? Hemet is a good dude. I like Hemet. I really, really do. I think that I think that he could be doing more. Now this is just my humble opinion in IMHO. It's my opinion that he could do more with his platform, but I think he's found his niche and he likes what he does, and he conveys information that's going on to the community that other people might not necessarily have. Essentially, everything that he puts out in his videos is out earlier on the Friendly Atheist newsletter that goes out, because I'm subscribed to that. So I get those headlines before he goes and addresses them. So essentially, he scrapes the news. They're scraping the news for anything having to do with religion, and then that stuff informs their content. It goes out in the newsletter, and then he for people not subscribed to that, he then does the content where he pretty much just reads what's going on in the newsletters. It's really, really simple model. I honestly think he could do more. He could work to greater effect. But he may not want to. So I will say that. But then, like I said, everyone's got their own. We all approach it from different angles, and that's important. If we're all focusing on the exact same thing, then it would get kind of boring. We would just we would oversaturate the market, and we'd lose the whole point. Recently, I heard about the shit going on with the Freedom from Religion Foundation, the shit with Coin and Dawkins and the other anti-trans d-hole, who's recently, they quit as honorary board members of the FFRF, because they're anti-trans and the FFRF is not. So, which is a shame, because Jerry Coyne is the biologist who brilliantly shut down Jerry Fodor and his bullshit. Evolution, natural selection isn't real. It's like debunking evolution, whatever, like that. Fodor and whoever the guy he worked with, I can't remember his name, is an Italian dude. But they did their whole thing. And Pinker was his last name. That's right. And so Coyne did great work, in establishing the understanding of evolution and why it's true, and of course debunking people like Fodor and shit like that. But then he comes around and he's like, sex is binary. I don't know how you can be a biologist and think that sex is binary at any stage whatsoever. The existence of intersex tells you that it's not binary. So I don't know. I don't know why he would do that. That seems really, really crazy to me. Adam Strange is anti-trans atheist? Yes. Anti-trans atheist, just like I've heard, I know a few conservative atheists as well, which, they themselves understand how weird that is. They really do. They understand how strange it is. So, but yeah, these are fantastic questions. Loving them. Make sure I didn't miss anybody's stuff. Now, Tony's was the last one for 2 Australians. It's Fonson done. It was greatest video stream ever. Thank you so much, bud. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody's. Excellent. Make sure I clear these. Thank you so much for all these super chats, everything so far. This was awesome. Got to make sure I clear the field so I don't miss anything. All right, Crafty. Crafty's heading out for sleep. Good night. Have a great one. Love to the kiddo. Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year. Thank you so much for popping in. I do appreciate that. Man, so many things happened this year. I have a list. Of things that happened this year. What is on the backside of that? Oh, that was for Stage of Reason. That was my list for Stage of Reason. So, so many things happened. So I actually wrote down a few things, just kind of reminiscing about 2024. So, some of these seem kind of innocuous, but there were some big moments. Obviously, politics was a huge thing, but do people remember I know some people remember this stuff. Some people probably will not. I know that in 2021, what did 2024 bring us? So in January, the incident with Boeing took place, where the door plug came off of the plane, forcing it to have an emergency landing, and wind up grounding an entire section of their fleet, and created what is essentially that may be the end of Boeing, or it was really severely hurt them. But the Boeing incident took place in January, which of course then Boeing became the laughingstock of all comedians everywhere. That happened in January. February, the Chiefs won Super Bowl 58. And the whole thing was overshadowed by the relationship of Travis Kelce with Taylor Swift. That became the big thing right there. March is when that container ship hit the Francis Scott Key Bridge and knocked the bridge down. But bring us nothing but a shitstorm. Yeah, there was a bunch of shitstorms in here. So, but yeah, in March saw the container ship hit the Francis Scott Key Bridge. I remember when that news broke, that was pretty intense. April was the total solar eclipse that I went down to Texas to see. And that was a lot of fun. Hung out with a bunch of friends, got video of it, put it up on the channel. So, but that was an absolute blast. Was seeing the total solar eclipse down in Texas. That was fun. In May, the head of the Iranian government, the Iranian president, died and was succeeded by a more progressive president. So Iran, in May, went progressive. And the first thing they began to reconsider was the requirement for women to wear hijabs, which I thought was pretty neat. So we may see more changes coming out of Iran, because of that. So Iran going progressive, that began in May. June saw the first female president elected in Mexico's history. And I didn't write her name down, but I know that she's a climate activist as well. So Mexico saw its first female president in June, which is pretty awesome. Plus, July, everyone knows what July. Everyone knows what happened in July. So, and I don't want to speculate that, but obviously it was the pew pew attempt on Trump. So, that was the big thing that happened then. If you claim that it was real, if you claim that it wasn't, that it was staged, I don't know, that he was hit in the ear and then his ear grew back because he grows ears so well. I have no idea. But that was the big thing that hit in July. Obviously, there had been one of those in history, or there had been one of those in a long, long time, like a legitimate, shots fired at the president. I think the closest ever gotten was H.W. Bush, someone threw a shoe at him. But actually, popping like taking shots. That I think last one was Kennedy. No, I don't really follow politics that well. I'd have to look. Yes, Trump. But yeah, so that happened in July. August saw the largest prisoner swap since the Cold War, and that was when 3 detained Americans, including an American journalist, since Reagan. Yeah, since Reagan was popped. So August saw the largest prisoner swap where we got three Americans, including an illegally detained journalist out of Russia. So the largest prisoner swap since the Cold War took place in August. September was Hurricane Helene. Oh yeah, George W. Bush, not H.W. Herbert Walker was the dad. W was the son. Sorry. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan Shire. September was Hurricane Helene. I remember when, obviously that just not that long ago, and of course efforts are still there. Efforts are to kind of like fix things. I know that North Carolina is still having massive problems. So is South Carolina, a number of other areas, because the money wasn't there to help them, as they needed it, and a lot of areas are still, badly impacted by the storm. So, but then again, I think Hurricane Helene was the first major. I think there have been other hurricanes, obviously some really, really bad ones, but I think Hurricane Helene, for how strong it was and how far inland it made, that I think Hurricane Helene should be like the first signal of the effects of climate change. That stronger, longer lasting, more powerful hurricanes that can make it further inland and do far more damage. So the damage of Hurricane Helene was in the tens of billions. Over 260 people lost their lives. So, unfortunately, with Trump in office and with the Trump in office and the other climate deniers all swarming around him, swarming like flies around his bloated corpse, we may see more of those, or we most likely will see more of those in the future. So gross stuff. Obviously, in October, the big thing that hit in October was Jimmy Carter turned 100. That was when Jimmy has celebrated his 100th birthday, the first American president to live to be 100 years old, which is pretty damn impressive. And then, of course, unfortunately, just passed away. So passed away this, I think it was yesterday or today. But Jimmy Carter passed away, which was the day, I think it was yesterday. But one of the best presidents we've ever had. We'll say that Jimmy Carter was great, and spent his post presidential deal doing all the good that he possibly could. I'll say that. I'll give that to him. But Jimmy Carter turned 100 in October, which was a milestone for presidents, and of course November, awful month where we all got hit in the dick, and that was just actually the top of November was just the worst, and then whatever, the beginning of the end, if you want to call it that. I have no idea. But yeah, the reelect, he won re-election. So, and then December, this month, I think the biggest thing was Assad was ousted in Syria and was forced to flee the country, ending his family's 50-year reign over Syria. So Assad is out, and we're good to go there now. And new government, the new regime change in Syria. So Assad is out, new regime in Syria, which is pretty epic news. And a couple of other things that also happened. Well, one major thing that happened in December, the final experiment took place. So, the final experiment took place, and flirts are in a tizzy. So, flirts are freaking out about them, and I'm loving the cope. It's hilarious. Obviously, MC Toon and all the other guys are going to be dining out on it for months. The one thing, here's a messed up thing, because I was watching it as it was taking place, and we all knew what was going to happen. Obviously, we've seen the community turn on Whitsitt and on Austin and Jaron. The community is completely turned against them, which we knew was going to happen. Jodie Foster. That big peanut farm in the sky. That big peanut farm in the sky. Could have the plague, leprosy, corona, and cotton candy for hair. That's true. This is true, Dr. Nimrod. It's absolutely true. Yeah, MC Toon burns Slappy good. So the cope is very, very real. And we knew that the community was going to turn against Austin. It was going to turn against Jaron. They've seen it for themselves now. It's irrefutable. So that's pretty much it. It pretty much proved that you have to drag their asses down to Antarctica to show it to them, or kick them out of an airlock, take them up into space and kick them out of an airlock before they'll figure it out. That's pretty much what it is. So the community I've seen is tearing itself apart. I think it's hilarious. But here's the kicker. So, and this is a conversation I would love to have on this channel, is the guy who set the whole thing up, Dave McKeegan, I think his name is. So Dave McKeegan, who sets the whole thing up, and Dave McKeegan is a believer, and went down there. He fronted the whole thing, which is fantastic. Did the whole deal. If I'm not getting his name right, if it's a different person, let me know. But I'm pretty sure it's Dave McKeegan is the whole one guy. Will Duffy set the whole thing up. Thank you. So Will Duffy sets the whole thing up. Thank you, Daryl Lamb. Will Duffy sets the whole thing up, and he's a believer, and he goes down to this thing, but apparently he's on the fence about young Earth, and that is a conversation I would love to have on this channel, because I don't know how he could be that, And I saw, this is interesting. I saw some people in one of MC Toon's live chat calling him out for being a hypocrite. And that was interesting to me, is that he spends all this money, arranges this entire thing, goes down there, proves exactly what we were expecting to see. He's there like that, and then turns around and he's a young Earth creationist, which is weird to me. It seems there is a break in his epistemology that he is not addressing, and I would very much like him to address it here. That's a conversation I would like to have with Will, although I don't know him. I've never interacted with him. I don't know him personally, so no idea. He's not as bad. He's not as bad as Ken Hovind. He's definitely not as bad as Hovind. But the fact that he's a YEC, that makes no sense to me. We seem to have a double standard for evidence here. So, yes, Commander Darklight, I do remember when Otangelo tried to use 10,000-year-old evidence to prove the Earth was 6,000 years old. That was fucking hilarious. That was funny as shit. Yes, I would. Yes, Daryl M. I would love to have that conversation with him. I think that would be fun, even if it was just a short, 30-minute conversation to kind of break this thing down. How, the evidence is there, and it's as obvious as, well, maybe not as obvious because it gets into like radiometric dating and shit like that. And then of course, and then you have to go into isochron dating where you don't know the amount of the parent and to figure out how much of the daughter. But the evidence is there, and it seems like he's taking the first position when it comes to the age of the Earth, but not when it comes to is the Earth a sphere and rotating around and orbiting around the sun. So he's skeptical of evolution, which is also bad because it's yes, Greater Sapien dunked on him badly, and that got my attention. Greater Sapien had a real problem with that, and I find it weird. I find it very weird, and I would love to have a chat with him on that. I really would. I would love to chat with Will Duffy about that because I don't think anybody's gotten him on a stream to talk about his young Earth creationism and his denial of evolution. Which is weird. So I think that would be a fun conversation. I would. If I could get him on here, I would. Have a chat to MC Tune. See, this is interesting. Okay. One sec. Hi, Blue. Good to see you. Really good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. I think I saw some people. Pinworm, good to see you. Yep. I saw that. I actually have a list here, Pinworm, and I didn't know if I want to go down it because it might be too sad. But then again, reminiscing about 2024. But yeah, I would love to have that chat with Will Duffy. I would love to bring him on and be like, yo, let's hash this because this could be really this. I'm kind of curious how he's rationalizing that. How is he solving that break, or how is he reconciling that break into epistemology? I think it'd be very, very important. So, if I could, I don't know how to get in touch with him, honestly. I haven't looked, but it is a question I would like, a conversation I'd like to have. Dr. Nimrod, that's a funny meme. 2024, pulling back to 1984. I like that. Very smart. Blue has been a member for Blue has gifted 5 memberships to the Godless Army. Thank you so much, Blue. Appreciate that. Very generous of you. Shufflehead Steve, good to see you. It's mind-boggling. I like it. Very good. MC Tune's live at the moment. I'll ask. Cool. Yeah, sure. Well, okay, so that's what I was going to get into. You mentioned MC Tune. So I love Tune. Okay. I met MC at the 2019 Flat Earth International Convention. I was pretty small at that time. I was there because I knew Skeptic, because I knew Team. And I wanted to go because it was like literally 45 minutes. No, it was like 40 minutes from my house. Like whatever. Like I lived here, was like literally right there. So I ran out there to go see and to hang out and see what was going on. Just have conversations with people, not record them. Not stick a camera in their face and put them on their back, put them on their heels. But I wanted to chat with people. I was small. My channel was small. Nobody really knew me. I knew Team. I knew Johnny. I followed Simon Dan. This was very, very early. It's 2019. It's pretty much when I kicked off my channel. And I met Tune. And I think that my content, the things that I address and the way I address them, I don't think Tune is a fan. While Tune and I see eye to eye on many, many things, I think that is a point of division between the two of us. Now, I had Tune on this channel before. I had to sit down with him to basically ask him how he reconciles his epistemology with this faith, and like how he reconciles that break. And I did everything, and I really, really tried. I really tried to not come off like I was attacking him. But hey, Mr. Andrat, thank you so much. Thank you for lurking. Appreciate it. Happy New Year to you. And yes, Tune can go crack a Tony on flirts. He really can. And yes, he is religious. So I was very curious as to how he reconciled that, given his empiricist position and his adherence to evidence and conforming his worldview to fit the evidence. And now I don't know if he's a naturalistic theist in that respect. Like, there is no such thing as supernatural. God just, interact. He believes that God interacts with the world in naturalistic ways. But I never really got to that point. But we never really got to an answer on that. And the longer the conversation went on, I could see the more uncomfortable he was getting. Unfortunately, once I'm in it, I'm kind of in it, and I pushed. And I think at a point I pushed too hard for his own comfort. And maybe I didn't like read the room, or maybe I didn't read him, or I was too like, into my own thing, that it just kind of like, I think I pushed him too hard. And I think I inadvertently created a kind of rift between me and him. I still respect the absolute shit out of him. Love the guy to death. He's a wonderful dude. I've met him in person. The guy's a joy to be around, an absolute blast. I love how snarky he is. He's one of the few people whose passive aggressiveness I can actually tolerate, because I really hate passive aggressive people. But I kind of dig how he delivers it. So I like him. The dude is great. And I can separate the guy from his beliefs in that respect, but I was really, really curious about that. And I think I inadvertently created a rift between me and Toon by doing that. And I knew it was a risk, but I thought it was something important that needed to be kind of like addressed, because people had questions about it. I had questions about it. And I wanted to kind of like dive into it and see how willing he was to dig into his own worldview. And it didn't seem he was very willing at all. Not trying to slight him on that. He seemed very cagey. And maybe it was me. Maybe I put him off. It's possible. It might have been all me, So I don't know about that, but it's still, I think, a conversation that should be had. And I would love to have a conversation with Will Duffy. I really, really would. So I'll definitely try to get that on the books. If Will Duffy would be interested in actually talking with me about that. So Toon doesn't hold many grudges that long. Well, that's good. I mean, it's been, when did I have him on? Last year, I think. Was it last year? When did I have Toon on the channel? I can check. I can actually look, see my content and go to my lives. When was Toon on the channel? That's when I had Joe Ensley. That was a funny one. That guy got trapped so bad. February 3rd, 2023. So almost 2 years ago. Is when I had Toon on. So next February 3rd will be 2 years since Toon was here. So I don't know. We'll see where that goes. But that was 2024, kind of year in review, all the big events that happened in 2024. There were also a number of people that we unfortunately lost in 2024. And this kind of made me a little misty-eyed going down the list. Some of my favorites are on there. And this wasn't everybody, just some of the ones that were important to me. But Carl Weathers, actor Carl Weathers, Rocky, Arrested Development, Predator, so many cool things. Carl Weathers passed away. Toby Keith passed away. If you're a fan of country music, Toby Keith passed away. Comedian Richard Lewis passed. We lost him. Louis Gossett Jr., amazing Oscar-winning actor. Lost Louis Gossett Jr. Dickie Betts and Mike Pinder passed away. Bernard Hill, Lord of the Rings, passed away, which is a shame. Roger Corman, one of the inspirations for my own filmmaking style. And as far as approaching the business, Roger Corman passed. That kind of broke my heart. I really loved Roger. Willie Mays, legendary baseball player Willie Mays, passed away. Donald Sutherland, one of my favorite actors, he passed. Shelley Duvall. That was actually kind of a relief when Shelley passed, because she was in a really bad way towards the end. But I'm glad that her struggles are over. But Shelley Duvall passed away. Dr. Ruth, lost Dr. Ruth. Shannon Doherty passed from breast cancer. Shannon Doherty from 90210 and Charmed. I grew up with Buffy and Charmed. But Shannon Doherty passed away. Richard Simmons, sweating to the oldies and like that. Richard Simmons passed away. Bob Newhart as well. Sergio Mendes passed away. James Earl Jones, Oh, that one killed me. James Earl Jones passed. Maggie Smith, Dame Maggie Smith passed. That was such a shame. Chris Christopherson, passed away. Legendary Chris Christopherson. Pete Rose passed. Never got that ban lifted. Pete Rose, a legendary baseball player who was banned from the sport for gambling. But Pete Rose passed. John Amos, actor John Amos, passed away. Loved him. Coming to America. brilliant work. I love John Amos and the stuff he did. A number of other movies. Some of these have left amazing filmographies for us. Terry Garr passed away. Young Frankenstein. You forget. So we go. Stay tuned. It's great stuff. Greg. Oh, I did not know this. Greg Hildebrandt of Greg and Tim Hildebrandt, artist Greg Hildebrandt, passed away. Which is one of my favorite fantasy authors. He's up there with Greg and Tim Hildebrandt. Boris Vallejo, a number of other. And I found a Greg Hildebrandt passed away, which just kind of like was sad. Ricky Henderson, baseball phenom Ricky Henderson passed away. Olivia Hussey. Olivia Hussey was an actress and what could be argued as the originator of the legit final girl, not a proto final girl, but originated the final girl trope. Began with Olivia Hussey in Black Christmas 1974. So because it came out before Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and there really wasn't a final girl in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Olivia Hussey pretty much originated that trope. It was carried on by Jamie Lee Curtis 1978 with Halloween. So. But yeah, Olivia Hussey passed away. Linda Lavin passed away. Brilliant performer. And of course, Jimmy Carter passed away just recently. And I think someone mentioned Richard Keel passed away, who was Odd Job. Was Odd Job or I'm sorry. What did it put him on? Was it Oddball? Odd Job? No, he was Jaws. Richard Keel passed away some time ago. Who was Odd Job? The guy who played him, Harold Sakata and Richard Lee Sung, or Harold Sakata and Goldfinger. Oh, no. Steve Albany. Oh, yeah, Steve Albany. Yeah, there were a number of musicians on there. I know that Dickie Betts and Mike Pinder, I know we're up there. May 7th is when Steve Albany passed away. So we lost a lot of great names, which is such a shame. And it's fucked up because the older I get, the more these kind of knockers. Yes, the older I get, the more I recognize these names because the names that I grew up with, which is just it just kind of breaks my heart. But they left us some amazing bodies of work. In a number of different fields. Not to mention what they played the game of baseball, whether it was music of any genre, doesn't matter. Actors, what they do, but amazing people. Oh yes, and Raven Darkstar, Limey, Triggered Limey, and Glober Mom passed away as well. So my heart goes out to their friends and their family. And I saw that the stickers that were dropped off on the down in Antarctica for Triggered Limey and Glober Mom, who passed away. So missed them a bunch. So just kicker of a year, man. Dave McKagan left them a memento for them. Saw the stickers there down there for him. So yeah, Fangirl 98, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. But yeah, man, this 2024, not the best of years. I can tell you that. Some good things that went down, but man, this was a year. As far as my channel goes, been doing pretty good. Been cranking it out. Almost got getting close to 10K. Closing out. I have no idea. I think I'm close. Still closing in on 9. Trying to make that final push. So yeah, I'm like what's that? 220. I'm 220 away from 9K. I think so. Yeah. 220 away from 9K. I was hoping I would hit. I was really hoping that I would hit 2020 says hold my beer. 2025 may say, literally, I don't know, 2025. It's because that's the next big thing. So hopefully I'll hit. Hopefully I'll hit 10K. I should be. I'm projected to hit 10K next year. I'm hoping to do it as fast as possible because I know that things kind of change in the algorithm once you hit 10K. So I'm looking forward to that milestone. But I want to thank everybody for all their assistance on that, for sharing the stuff, liking it, commenting, all the interactions. My interactions are fantastic. That is what I love about you. This is also my opportunity for this past year to thank every single one of you, because I'm looking at while the analytics kind of go up and down, the one thing I love seeing is the interactions. if it's one thing I say, I see so many people all the time comment that I should have more subs, I should have more views, my channel should be popping off, with the quality of my content, and that's really awesome. But one thing I really dig is how much you all interact with the content, how much you comment, like and share and do all that cool stuff. That's really amazing stuff because my interactions are way above average. People returning to watch content, people watching for a long amount of times, the people who are subscribed, who are coming back to watch, I can see all of that stuff. And my percentages are awesome. And that's because of y'all. So that tells me that at least I'm putting out solid content that that you guys are returning to watch. And those of you who support the channel, who are subscribed, who have channel memberships, those who maybe pick up merch at the store, that's really, really amazing stuff. And so that fuels everything here. But at least I know I love the cultivated. I love that I've managed to cultivate a dedicated audience. I'd rather have a small dedicated audience that slowly grows than a whole bunch of people who just hate watch or are just subscribed because they know of me, but they don't watch anything. I want to build that interactive community where people are talking about stuff. Maybe people can go out and start making their own channels, and making their own content. Maybe something that they pull, something I do that inspires them. That would be amazing. So, I love it, Raven. Absolutely. Cause chaos in every live. Yeah, you got to. Motion of the ocean. You don't need a big channel. It's the motion of the ocean. Oh, wait, no, I think it is. But you guys rock. So it's going to be amazing. So hopefully that's one of the things I hope for in 2025. What's going to happen in 2025? Who the fuck knows? I can tell you this. Goals for this channel. I'd like to, there's two goals that I have. One, hit 10K. That's my first big goal. First big goal for this channel is to hit 10K. I'd love to be able to do that and just get that milestone out of the way. Love to hit 10K in 2025. And I'd also love to be able, to do more live streams at least once a week. Trying to figure out how to schedule that, I would love to be able to do. That would be awesome to go along with my regular content. I would love to be able to do that. So more live streams and hitting 10K. Those would be my two big ones for 2025. That is, if the earth doesn't explode or something, or the apocalypse starts, or somebody hits the button and nukes us all I have no idea. I know where I live. I'm right here, and there are two blast zones. So I'm there's a blast zone to the north and there's a blast zone to the south. And I'm way off here in the middle of nowhere in the country. And so if it depends upon the prevailing winds, the fallout might get me, it might not get me. I have no idea. But I guess we'll find out. Soup Kettle says, what's happening in 2025? I am getting married. Congratulations, Soup Kettle. That is awesome. Well done. Taking the vows. Very cool. It's the end of the world as we know it, and I don't feel fine. That's true. That's true. But who isn't afraid? Lenny Bruce is not afraid. That's who's not afraid. Lenny Bruce is not afraid. Gotcha, really. I really do. So, what do we think is going to happen in 2025? There is a kind of end of the world bingo card. I'll actually make a prediction on this. I think there's going to be another pandemic. That's me. There are currently rumblings in China of something going on. We don't know what. Something happening. So I think there might be another pandemic. That's my guess. If I were to put a list of possible things to happen, I think that's going to be at the top of it, is another pandemic. I think there's going to be a really, really, really bad hurricane season. I think we're going to see a really bad storm season. So bad hurricanes and bad tornadoes in places where they usually don't get tornadoes, and longer lasting and grosser hurricanes. So I'm anticipating that as well. As far as politics go, I don't think that for those of us here in America, I don't think I live north of Lansing and west of Flint, both of which are targets. Oof, brutal. So, Trump has discovered the loophole. The Constitution's allowed him to become a dictator for life. So So I get that, Tony. So my guess. Okay, so this is kind of like, I don't know. It's a prediction. I would love. This is where I would love to have Jefferson Spatchcock on, although he could probably run on for days about this. My anticipation is that the first 2 years of Trump's presidency, so 2025, 2026, so like it'll be 2026 to 27. The first 2 years are going to be chaotic because it's going to be people essentially, it's going to be like musical chairs. There'll be like children scrambling for their seats. I have a feeling it's going to be kind of crazy. There's going to be wacky stuff that pops up and gets swatted down, crazy stuff with the Supreme Court. But I think that the first 2 years are just going to be kind of chaotic, not extreme chaotic where everybody's just like, oh, like the sky is falling. I just think it's going to be kind of like wild, where nobody who has the potato, as they're throwing it around. I think that's what the first 2 years are going to look like. But if they get past the midterms are going to determine how the next, how the back half goes. And what scares me the most, and I've mentioned this a number of times before, is if after the midterms, they have established their popularity enough that they feel confident enough to call a congressional convention. That's my fear. That's like the one thing I'm afraid of, is if we get past those midterms and their popularity has maintained, the popularity of the party is maintained, and they try to pull a constitutional convention where the goal of that would be to fuck with the source code of America, which would be the Constitution. I have no doubt there was already shit drafted up for changes to amendments or for additional amendments or whatever. But yeah, that's the one thing I'm kind of afraid of. So the first 2 years, the government's just gonna be kind of chaotic. We're gonna see all kinds of just wacky shit. Who knows what's gonna happen? But the back half, it's all gonna depend on the we will have the perfect fucking charge. Agreed, Shovelhead Steve. And Colorado Biker, good to see you. It's possible, Benjamin Costello. It's possible that he may not. But even if Trump, whatever, in office, congestive heart failure, too many Big Macs, falls down the stairs, and then like nobody bothers to check, and like I guess the resident cats have eaten him. I have no idea. But if something happens, it's not going to change anything. Trump is irrelevant at this point. He's at the point they need him. The powers behind him don't need him for anything else other than to be a mouthpiece. If he croaks in office, that mouthpiece will be J.D. Vance. That's all they need. They just need a mouthpiece for their agendas. And so if they manage to maintain that popularity for the first 2 years and make it through the midterms, that's where we're going to find out. Because there may be a constitutional convention called after that. And if there is, that's when we should be shaking like a dog shitting peach seeds. So that's kind of like my prediction as far as, the big things that happen in 2025. I don't know what's going to happen with what's going on in the Middle East. I don't know what's going to happen, obviously, with what's going to happen, what's going to happen between Ukraine and Russia. That all depends on what's going to go down in January or, in the first few months. I honestly don't know. If Trump went out just like Stalin, cowering in his bed and seeing enemies on all sides, that would be hilarious. Bad guys everywhere. And I think he stroked out, and like was like blah, and like fell out of his bed. I don't know. I anticipate it will be ugly before it gets pretty, as it usually is. So, like I said, I don't want to. Like I've said before, I don't want to dive way too extreme into politics. But to ignore it would be silly. To be prepared for it would be the best thing you can do. But I would say don't dwell on it. But don't dwell on it like every day. Don't let it consume you like I let it consume me in the last year before the election. But be aware of it. Cautiously aware. This is one of those times when you can see where the wind is blowing, and we need to watch that wind. So we need to watch where that wind is blowing. Commander Darkland says we're willing to take in American refugees if needed. I will be the first on that boat because I love your country. I do, and I've always wanted to go there. So that would be amazing. Maybe you can put in a good word for me with your prime minister. I think that'd be neat. Ding. or Prime Minister. So Dr. Nimrod says whatever happens is going to happen, and you can't stop it now. True. We are Indy running away from the boulder. You know, the boulder's coming down. We triggered the trap, and now we're running to try and make it out of the tomb alive with the idol in hand. The idol being our liberty. So our liberty and our freedom and our secular founded nation. And hopefully we can get the fuck out. So yes, ask Matt Groening. You see, that's funny, Bob Nodell, because Matt Groening had him pew-pewed, you know, had him done, and that's how it ended in The Simpsons when they went to the future one time, you know, after the pew-pewing of President Trump. Ike Little said the problem is that we usually had 8 years for Democrats to clean up the mess the Republicans did to the economy. A recession is coming sooner rather than later. Absolutely, there is. So, but if you have any thoughts about what may happen in 2025, you know, whether it be economic, political, geopolitical, whatever, throw them down in the comments below. Love to hear your predictions for 2025. You know, I'm not one, and going into 2025 as well, I'm not one for like, you know, New Year's resolutions. I intend to keep like doing what I'm doing, and I would like to make sure I would like to try to get to my target weight in 2025. That's something but you know, putting that undue pressure on yourself. This is a resolution. I'm resolved to do this. I think puts too much undue pressure on it and can kind of like psych yourself out. And then if you wind up getting too far away from it, you kind of lose hope. So I don't want to do that. I just, you know, I guess I resolve to put as much effort as I can into the channel and try to keep doing top tier, you know, top level content, and, you know, watch the channel grow as I do that. So Fangirl 98 says, sorry, it's 2:30. I'll watch the rest tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Good night. Thanks so much for being here, Fangirl. You rock. Appreciate it. That's true. Well, yeah, he hasn't been wrong yet. There's some weird and wacky stuff in The Simpsons. The guy is probably a time traveler. So beyond that, you know, and I see that people were too busy or people didn't have the opportunity to join. I think it was Lost PhD Tony. I think he left a while ago. But yeah, you know, I was wondering, I was kind of like, thank you. Let me check something out here real quick, because I don't know if it's plausible at this point. I've been in for an hour and a half. Like I said, this is what happens when you really don't have a schedule for going into anything. Nobody to argue with. Nobody to do any no guests to go back and forth and, you know, burn time getting their opinions. It's just me vamping in front of the camera, talking about this past year. You know, I didn't know what was going to happen. You know, I was just going to try to wing it and get through stuff, you know, and just talk about some various things, like reminisce about some of the awesome people that we unfortunately lost, big events in the year. And you know, I was thinking about possibly doing a video review. I haven't done one of those in a while. I've got a couple of things that are kind of interesting. Benjamin Costello says, I will argue with you. Island's website just for death notices is massively popular. Oh, wow. That's wild. There was an interesting thing that I came across, you know, that I found really intriguing. Just found this kind of fascinating. And it was so weird because I was planning on doing this as a possible video, and then Alex O'Connor dropped his existential crisis iceberg, and this was a conspiracy iceberg. You know, that I found was really, really interesting. Let me see here real quick. It was a conspiracy iceberg is what it was. And let me see if I can. Let me see if I can do this. I think that's right. Let me see here. I don't know if y'all can see that very well. The conspiracy iceberg. I said Alex O'Connor, not O'Connell. O'Connell is from The Mummy. So, but Alex O'Connor he dropped a video today that was like, I think he dropped a video today that was about like the existential crisis iceberg, going into deeper and deeper stuff. So on phone with an aunt. Very cool. So I was looking at this and I found this to be really, really fascinating. But the conspiracy iceberg, which is a bunch of really, really like wacky stuff. And I some of the stuff I had never even heard of. But top 10 things you didn't know about X. Well, this is like, some of this is really, really interesting stuff. So I was thinking about doing a video on this. And then like, these are the top like conspiracies you could find, especially the that were popular in 2024, like big conspiracies. And I don't know if you agree with these or not. And I can actually bring it because some of these you might not recognize. So like tier 1, you've got robotic actors, giant squid surveillance, Lemuria, Digital Oracle, Flight TS919, Operation Nightfall, Galactic Science, and Synthetic Organics. And so I found it was like, and so I had to look some of these up as for what they are. Then like, tier 2, you had the cheesecake incident, time displacement effect, subliminal encoding, nanobot injections, so on and so forth. It's really weird. So I had to look some of these up. So apparently in tier 1, robotic actors is apparently a conspiracy that influential figures in media and politics are actually advanced robots controlled by a secret organization. I think we're all pretty much we charge 100 pounds for a post in 2025. I don't know what RIP.IE is. RIP.IE, not sure what that is. 100 pounds for a post? That's wild. So apparently giant squid surveillance is the theory that giant squids are bioengineered creatures used for underwater surveillance by world governments, which is just hilarious to me. Lemuria, a lost continent that once existed in the Pacific Ocean, home to an advanced ancient civilization. Right. Lemuria. Digital Oracle, a supercomputer with vast knowledge of human history, secretly predicting and manipulating global events. Galactic Silence, the idea that extraterrestrial civilizations are purposely avoiding contact with Earth to observe us without interference. It sounds like an offshoot of the Dark Forest idea, where people remain silent, where intelligences out in the universe remain silent so as not to attract attention from things that might kill them. So it's the Death Notice website. Oh, Death Notice website. Gotcha. Lemuria and Atlantis are mortal enemies. I like that. And the laser bang was guarding the ice wall made all the conspiracy theories. They probably would. They probably generated out. Then you've got Operation Nightfall, a clandestine military project aimed at controlling natural disasters and weapons, which is the shit that fueled the stuff behind Helene that a lot of people were like posting all over like TikTok and Twitter and Rumble, that Helene was actually an engineered natural disaster, which wasn't, because they don't understand how hurricanes are made, which is really, really funny. Why did I look around like I'm paranoid? My guild leader in WoW, it believes that shit. Believes that Helene was literally a targeted weapon. That's why they targeted Florida. So why they targeted the South with it, ignoring the hundreds of years of evidence that hurricanes hit in that area because they typically form in the Atlantic and they can smash into the East Coast and the Gulf of Mexico all the time. But no, this one time, because it happened in November, it happened in hurricane season and hit Florida during an election year. Yeah, it was definitely a weapon then. But it's not when it happens like in 2023 or 2022 or 20, whatever. So only when, they have something riding on it. But it was ridiculous. Obviously, they don't understand how ocean temperatures are what the mean ocean temperature is what influences the strength and longevity of a hurricane. They don't seem to get that. So it wouldn't be something that you can create. It'd be something that you'd have to affect the ocean in order to generate more of them. It's just absolutely silly to make them more powerful. Flight TS919, a mysterious vanished airplane believed to have been taken by a secret government agency or extraterrestrial beings. That happens all the time. You're getting blamed right there. Synthetic organics, the theory that genetically modified organisms are part of a larger plan to control global food supply and manipulate human health. So these are kind of like, I've seen these on TikTok. I've seen these on YouTube, just kind of like silly people, just silly things that are easily debunked. I think it's just people being, this is like your basic kind of like, what ifs and like I would say garden variety paranoia. Then you got tier 2, which gets a little bit weirder. The cheesecake incident was apparently a secret government operation that involved poisoning a popular dessert to control the population. I could not find anything online that supported this. So like any like a specific event. So I have no idea. Like poisoning cheesecake to control the population. No idea where that came from. Time displacement effect, a phenomenon where certain individuals experience time differently, potentially due to interference from unknown forces. This may be individuals with perception problems, or may have some sort of suffering some sort of like neurological deficits. May blame it on this one, especially if they are intermittent, or they have chronic issues. They may blame it on that, when in actuality, it's just their brain malfunctioning. Nanobot injections, the belief that vaccines contain nanobots that can alter human behavior and physiology for nefarious purposes. We all remember that back in 2020, don't we? Remember that back in 2020. Let's see, X-57 phenomenon. Unexplained atmospheric events believed to be evidence of extraterrestrial communication or advanced government technology. So I know a couple of events that have been attributed to this, but I don't know where the name X-57 comes from, which is intriguing. So I may have to look into that. But like the incident over Chicago O'Hare was I think was attributed to this. The weird hole in the sky or the hole in the clouds, Just have to have an invisible pyramid. Oh, get right on that. Tony says, why have robotic actors when the studios own the rights to the likenesses of actors and can use AI and CGI instead of paying millions to the actors? Yeah, you just do like AI, we need nanobots. The Wi-Fi sucks here. May improve it. Nice. I like that, Rashid. Yeah, why not just do everything CGI and artificial, and AI generated? It'd be so much easier. It'd be so much cheaper. Let me see. Spirit screens, the idea that digital screens can be used to interact with or summon supernatural beings. Wow. So I could interact with supernatural beings or summon them with my monitors. Intriguing. Okie dokie. Mysterious labyrinths, a series of ancient underground structures found worldwide thought to be connected by a secret network. So there have been structures found underground, but they're not. There's no evidence that there's evidence that they're natural formations, not that they were like made by anything, but naturally formed and unlikely to be connected by a secret network. So I think that's just a projection off of evidence that we have. Project Whisper, a top secret government project focusing on the development of psychic abilities for espionage purposes. This is obviously being like a continuation of like MK Ultra and those programs back in the 60s. Subliminal encoding, the theory that hidden messages and symbols are placed within mass media to manipulate the thoughts and behaviors of the public. So, yes, subliminal imaging does take place, but not to do, well, I guess you could say to manipulate the behaviors of the public, because subliminal images are utilized to reinforce or used in advertising to reinforce brand recognition. And that happens a lot. And it can be something as simple as using a specific color or using an image inlaid into the thing that you're looking at. That you're subconsciously you pick up on it, but it kind of reinforces the brand. So every time you see the ad, your brain picks up on that. So if you ever see that particular thing, that particular image or that pattern in the real world, your brain automatically connects to that, and it reinforces you remembering that ad. So it reinforces its product recognition. And so basically using your brain's wiring to get, I guess, ad revenue, or basically to get, ad replays in your brain. Essentially what that is. Then we move on to tier 3, which I find interesting. Quantum gravity waves, the hypothetical form of energy that can allow for time travel or manipulation of reality, which is interesting. I don't know how real that is. That may be some sci-fi stuff that people are thinking of, given the discovery of gravitational waves. Don't know. That's kind of weird. Hypothetical form of quantum gravity. I think we would first need like a theory of quantum gravity, which we're not even there yet. The Dodo Revival Project, a secret initiative to resurrect extinct species, starting with the dodo for unknown purposes. Well, obviously, if we started resurrecting extinct species, we cloning them using their DNA, it would. I mean, I don't know what we would do with them. I know that there are plans to try and bring back the mammoth and potentially the great auk and a number of birds, maybe even the thylacine. But don't know about. But yeah, apparently resurrecting. That one's kind of grounded in truth. You know, there is some truth to that. There are programs do that, but why are they doing it? Probably because like Jurassic Park, because they can, or because they because they want to. Pretty much it. Doesn't mean they should, but they will. Everyone is so focused on subliminal images, but back in the 80s, they knew that music has a greater effect. Agreed. Music does have a better effect. Spirit Screens is lifted from Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials trilogy. Ah, thank you, Tony Regine. I have not read that, so very cool. I did not know that. Let's see, the Invisible Continent, a hidden landmass on Earth believed to be home to an advanced secretive civilization. That's got to be pulled from fiction. The Invisible Continent, or that sounds like Lost. You know, the island that moves around and can't be detected. You know, you only can get there if the island wants you to get there. That sounds like Lost, some Lost shit. Cobweb Cult, a mysterious and ancient society that worships spiders and believes they hold the key to understanding the universe. Okay, interesting. Evidence would be fantastic. I love that. Maybe this is what informed that episode of South Park when they went to the Vatican and like apparently they opened up the wall behind the Pope's little throne and there was a giant spider queen in there. So Invisible Continent sounds like a Terry Pratchett book. Agreed. That sounds very Pratchett. Bringing back dodos because they are said to be delicious and rich people want to eat them. Makes sense. That actually makes more sense than anything else. Eternal Library, a hidden repository containing the collective knowledge of all human civilizations, accessible only to a select few. So, like the recreation of the Library of Alexandria. A modern Library of Alexandria, essentially what that is. If that exists, don't know. We do know that there's like a seed vault. We do know that there are repositories of both information and resources around the world that numerous countries have done these things. But like a modern day Library of Alexandria, I don't know if that exists. That'd be really cool if it did. The question that would be the mechanism, like what information they're allowing in, because if it's, I mean, it could be full of like the collective knowledge of all human civilizations, but is all of it knowledge is a problem, or is there a bunch of like nonsense bullshit in there as well? So that'd be my curiosity. Where like who is making the selection? What's the selection process like? Neurological hacking, the development of technology that allows for direct manipulation of human thoughts and memories. So neurological hacking would obviously require, like directly accessing somebody's brain. Now, because you can affect people's DNA with certain forms of radiation, and you can do that, but actually hacking into the human brain would require a direct neural interface, something that that basically interacts or interfaces directly with the physical material of your brain. So, because that's where all that stuff comes from, is the electrical impulses between your neurons. So you'd actually have to do that. And so the development of like, now you could say that Neuralink could be a step in that direction. This is obviously a step in the direction of like, the post-humanism, like post-human movement. So maybe, don't know. But that sounds like there's also kind of science fiction as well, going towards the future. But Neuralink shows that people are putting money into it. Mirror World, a parallel universe that exists alongside our own, accessible through reflective surfaces. That's like a subject of many a horror film. There was 2 movies. There was Mirrors and Mirrors 2, and there was another one with Lena Headey that was really good, where the doppelgangers begin to come out of the mirrors and attack everybody, and then Lena Headey, I think at one point, gets into a car accident, but it turns out, and so she gets into a car accident, hits her head, and then starts like seeing everything like falling apart around her. But then I think it's like what happens is the doppelgangers start attacking everybody. And then when the film opens up with her getting into a car accident, and then when she gets out of the car, she like hits her head, and she wakes up in the hospital. When she wakes up in the hospital, everybody's acting weird. So she's like, what the hell is going on? And then she discovers that doppelgangers are coming out of mirrors and attacking everyone. But it turns out, we find out at the end, that's what happened to her, and that her doppelganger killed her, and then like ran out and got into her car, tried to drive off, got into a car accident, hit her head, and then thought she was her, the original, and like lost like the whatever. And so it was really weird, really weird little movie. But I mean, it was fun. It was a good movie. Then a nice little twist in there. I love this random shit that just kind of, welcome to my stream of consciousness, my end of year stream of consciousness. I miss Week in Horror. where I can kind of like purge all this every week. Pandora's algorithm, a powerful and dangerous artificial intelligence capable of predicting and controlling human behavior on a mass scale. Pandora's algorithm. I don't know much about that. Artificial intelligence. It's an AI. Well, some evidence that would be interesting. I haven't heard anything about it myself. If you guys have heard anything about these or have your own thoughts, definitely put them in the comments. Tier 4, supernatural black market, an underground network trading in supernatural artifacts and creatures. Okay, that's some like supernatural shit. That's like from the show. That's like some drama stuff. That's Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's Charmed. That's all that stuff. Supernatural black market. Prophetic paintings, a collection of ancient artworks that accurately depict major historical events before they occurred. I don't know of any. Where are they getting this? It's like this is just making these things up. That's what it feels like. Lunar colony, a secret human settlement on the moon established by a powerful covert organization, possibly Nazis, because that was actually the plot of another movie. These are movies. Movies and TV shows is what these are. The Cloud Society, a secretive group that controls global weather patterns, natural disasters for their own gain. That's silly. That technology. Well, I mean, that's why it's a conspiracy. They're going to say the technology exists to do that because they're going to point at things like HARP and a number of other things, which are all just kind of silly. Oblivion frequencies, radio signals that, when heard, cause listeners to lose their memories or experience reality shifts. Could be, I guess, like an explanation for the Mandela effect, possibly. Oblivion frequencies. Oceanic monoliths, giant underwater structures of unknown origin believed to be remnants of an ancient advanced civilization. I'm thinking these are people just looking at underwater structures like mountains and rifts and other shit that they're interpreting as structures of unknown origin. I've never heard of any kind of evidence coming out of this. This sounds like misidentification to me. They are games and books too. It's like David Icke watching movies and thinking they are real. I know, right, Benjamin? It's wild. Sky serpents. Okay, sky serpents. This is straight out of the HBO show. Wolves thing. What the hell was the name of it? Because that had a sky serpent in it. Mysterious flying creatures seen in the sky is thought to be interdimensional extraterrestrial beings. This is, what the hell is the name of that show? They're all ancient alien plots. Yeah, probably. What the hell is the name of that show? Raised by Wolves. Raised by Wolves. That because there's sky serpents and Raised by Wolves. Assassination of Time. A conspiracy theory suggesting that a secret organization has developed the technology to erase or rewrite specific historical events, altering the course of human history. So that requires Game of Thrones, yeah, dragons. So assassination of time would require that B theory be true. So that would be for people who subscribe to B theory. But physicists, as far as I understand it, don't subscribe to B theory. They subscribe to A theory. So that's my understanding of that. But B theory be that like the block where like the past, the present, and the future all exist in this one timeline. And so those things exist, which they can somehow move in between them. They can move back to the past or up to the future. But in A theory, you can't do that. Essentially, A theory is presentism. But in B theory, you can. This would require B theory to be true. But even then, with B theory being true, time might not work that way because when you move back, it's like if you go back to the past, that past, that future becomes that past becomes your present. And so affecting events, so essentially going back in time would create an alternate timeline. So you get branching realities, is the way I understand it, but don't know. Jean-Claude Van Damme was in that movie. Yes, he was. Sky serpents are linked to rods, which have been debunked as blurred insects flying in front of the camera. Nice. Like that. Tier 5. Almost done. Celestial beings among us. The belief that otherworldly entities are living among humans, influencing society and guiding humanity's evolution. So that would be like aliens or angels or demons. Essentially, yeah. Which there's no evidence of. Chronological manipulation, the theory that certain organizations or beings possess the power to manipulate time and alter historical events for their benefits. That would be also similar to the assassination of time. Sounds like that, or even possibly oblivion frequencies could be connected to that. Chronological manipulation. Some of these seem to be kind of like extensions of the ones previous. Invisible pyramids, hidden pyramids around the world that are invisible to naked eye, believed to hold mystical powers or knowledge. That's some sci-fi fantasy nonsense. Gobi Desert Enigma, a mysterious phenomenon occurring in the Gobi Desert, potentially linked to extraterrestrial activity or lost advanced technology. The Gobi Desert Enigma? Gobi Desert Enigma, an abandoned structure in the Gobi Desert. Several reports are going around that there are multiple mysterious bases in the Gobi Desert. By mysterious, these conspiracy theorists have spotted something odd in the Gobi Desert. By mysterious, we mean that they are abandoned in the desert, which means they must, of course, be there's some shady conspiracy theory. Yeah, so the first structure is composed of two X-shaped tarmac strips next to abandoned buildings. That's pretty weird looking than that. These look like abandoned installations, like abandoned military installations in the Gobi Desert. Yeah, just abandoned locations that were built there. They had their own infrastructure, and then they were just left behind. So I think that's just people looking at things and just going above and beyond from there. Oh, Lucifer and Supernatural and Good Omens, agreed. Yep, MIB. Keanu Reeves was in that movie. Yes, it's true. Elysium Network. Apparently Elysium, not just a movie with Matt Damon. A secret society of powerful individuals who hold the keys to an advanced utopia accessible only to a chosen few. That smells like Don't Look Up to me. That smells like the plot for Don't Look Up, where the elites get to go on the rocket and go to another planet. Sentient fungi, a theory that certain fungi possess intelligence and have been secretly influencing human society for millennia. So that's a take on The Last of Us. The idea that fungus have the ability to alter perception, which is, like ergot, aspergillus, psilocybin, cordyceps, all those things. But not to that degree. The fungi itself wouldn't be sentient. Oh, technically, they wouldn't be sapient, but they technically are because they can react to stimuli. They can. So I would say that in that sense, if someone they'd have to ingest them because fungi, their spores can affect you and cause fungal infections. But influencing human society, no, they have to be ingested and they actually have to cross the blood-brain barrier in order to get that. And the problem with fungus, they need to live on the skin, but because internally the host internal temperature is too high, then they can't survive. So, Secrets of the Library of Alexandria. Hidden knowledge and ancient wisdom thought to have been preserved from the Library of Alexandria. That sounds like a different version of the, what was it? The other one. Of the secret, the knowledge that, the Eternal Library. That's from back in Tier 3. It sounds like literally just a version of a version of the Eternal Library. Planetary Guardians. Someone's been watching a lot of MCU movies. A group of powerful beings that protect Earth from cosmic threats, keeping their existence hidden from humanity. That smells like someone really loves comic books, because that smells like comics to me. All right, and let me see here. Then we have Dream Collectors. I think we are in, where are we at? Right here. Dream Collectors, mysterious entities that harvest human dreams for unknown purposes, potentially for energy information. That smells like Sandman to me. Colorado Biker, or that weird fungus makes bugs climb to the top of the tree before their heads explode, releasing spores. That would be cordyceps. Yep. Sentient fungi, The Last of Us. Yep. Holographic deities, the belief that the gods and goddesses or various religions are actually advanced holographic projections created by an unknown force. That smells like simulation theory to me, like the simulation hypothesis. Interstellar messenger DNA, the idea that an ancient message from an extraterrestrial civilization is encoded within human DNA awaiting discovery. Yeah, I don't see that. Quantum conspiracies, conspiracies involving the manipulation of quantum phenomena to control reality or access alternate dimensions. That's also a bunch of science fiction stuff there as well. Gaia's Lament, the theory that the Earth is a sentient being that communicates through natural disasters in response to human actions. Interesting. That's also where Earth actually responds. Yeah, Stephen King wrote that book. That's true. Quantum conspiracies would be like the Arrowhead Project in the Mist. Gaia's lament. That's interesting. The Earth is a sentient being that communicates through natural disasters. Interesting. That also sounds like fiction to me. Cognitive dissonance engine, a secret device used by powerful organizations to generate confusion and division within society, making it easier to control. If you're creating confusion and division, that wouldn't result in an ease of control because it could, but you're going to go through a lot of strife and a lot of death and a lot of destruction because it's eventually going to get to a boiling point where everybody starts tearing everything apart. So the aftermath, you could probably control a lot easier because there's fewer numbers. Subterranean titans, massive ancient creatures that dwell deep within the earth, potentially responsible for unexplained seismic events. Been reading some Lovecraft, I see. And the Oculi incident, a mysterious event involving mass hallucinations or sightings of otherworldly beings believed to have been covered up by authorities. The Oculi incident? I love it when they're specific. Oculi incident. So that was a book by Regis Shilkin. African-American pastor Paul Loeb's gut instinct. Is this a fiction book? This is a book. It's a novel. So it's fiction. Oh, written by a dude who followed the Benedictine monks. So yeah, that's fiction. Oculi Incident is a book. Oh, so that's like people who think that like the Montauk Project is real, because the Montauk Project was a series of young adult novels that came out in the 90s, and then the Montauk Project is what influenced Stranger Things. And there are people out there that believe, and I've actually debunked a few of them in my content, that believe the Montauk Project was real, which means they believe that Stranger Things is real. And let me see. Got astral shadows, hidden entities that exist within the astral plane, harmonic convergence. I think I've heard of this before. The belief that certain cosmic alignments can trigger a shift in human consciousness. That's some woo stuff. I've heard of that. I've heard of like woo believers, woo peddlers talking about that. Primordial memory chamber, a hidden location on Earth that contains the collective memories of all living beings. Wow. Okay. Existential clockwork, a theory suggesting that the universe operates like a giant machine with every event carefully orchestrated by an unseen force. That's got to be a fiction book as well. Colorado Biker says, shape-shifting reptilian aliens telepathically controlling the Freemason Illuminati from their underground bunker at Area 51. Gotcha. The Montauk Project to the Philadelphia Experiment. Agreed, Tony Regime. Yep. Anthropomorphizing the Earth as a whole. Yep. Echolocation prophecy, an ancient prophecy that utilizes echolocation to reveal the future, decipherable only by a chosen few. Like dolphins? Whales? So long and thanks for all the fish? That's what I think of that. So, an ancient prophecy that utilizes echolocation to reveal the future. That's weird. Sound to reveal the future. I don't even know how you would like. That's got to be something that came up in a fiction book. Interdimensional containment, the idea that certain locations or objects on Earth serve as prisons or containment fields for powerful interdimensional beings. Somebody who's that's also like a number of comics, a number of horror stories, and various other things have been influenced by that. Lovecraft, King. You find that all over the place. The Great Nexus, a central point in the universe where all dimensions of realities converge, allowing for travel between them. Oh, okay. That would also be like Stephen King, like the Dark Tower. Like the hub for all things, like the dark in Stephen King universe, the Dark Tower is like the pin that all realities are set upon. And so if you were to destroy the Dark Tower, then all realities would fall apart because there's nothing keeping them stable. Harmonic divergence, when nothing in the solar system lines up with anything. Yep. Pharaoh's lost technology. Advanced technology and knowledge believed to have been hidden, been used by ancient Egyptian pharaohs, now hidden from the world. That's some ancient alien shit right there. And the last ones we have, the very bottom of the conspiracy pyramid, or the conspiracy iceberg, I said pyramid. The Unseen Order, a secret organization that exists outside of time and space, manipulating the course of history from the shadows. Sounds like an evil god. Whispers of Oblivion, Mysterious, indecipherable whispers heard in certain locations that are believed to be messages from entities beyond our comprehension. That's some Lovecraft shit. That's some Cthulhuonic shit. That's Cthulhu. The infinite paradox, the theory that the universe is perpetually caught in a loop of creation and destruction with every iteration subtly different from the last. That, I mean, that would just be like, the cyclical universe, which is a hypothetical possibility. Tesseract of consciousness, a hypothetical construct that allows individuals to access and experience multiple realities simultaneously. Intriguing. I think there was a device like that in a movie called The Shift. I think it was a movie called The Shift where you could do that, where they had that device in that movie. It was a Christian propaganda film. All right, Stargate. Yeah, Stargate. The timeless enigma, an enigmatic force or entity that exists outside of time and influences key historical events in mysterious ways. That's Q. Like that's literally Q. The Q continuum is what that is. That's the Q. And the Devourer's Reckoning. A sinister, all-powerful entity lies dormant at the edge of the universe, poised to awaken upon the fulfillment of an ancient prophecy. Once awakened, it will descend upon our reality, annihilating all existence and replacing it with an impenetrable darkness. This malevolent force has subtly influenced human history, seeding whispers of its impending return, and ultimately preparing humanity for the irreversible obliteration of all that we cherish. So that's Azathoth. That's straight up Azathoth from the Cthulhu mythos. So yeah, that's just, so we got Azathoth, the Q, Stargate, cyclical universe, Cthulhu itself, and also could be Q, a secret organization that exists outside of time and space, manipulating the course of history from the shadows. That could also be the Q. So yeah, some of these are repeated. Some of these are just extensions of the other ones, but intriguing nonetheless. Now I don't have to do a video on that. Yay. I love getting rid of content. I don't know what the paradox would be. That's really, really weird. Seems more like a list of video game titles. Agreed with that, Darren Delaney. Absolutely. So yeah, now I don't have to do a video on conspiracies. I could just do it here on this live stream. And kind of like burn some time to see if maybe a guest might pop in. But I see no one has, so it's all good. Well, I'm kind of like out of stuff. Now that I'm really wanting to talk to Will Duffy. I think that would be cool. I have to get him on the channel. Maybe I should like check out his stuff. Let me see here. Oh, I got an email. Wow. Is YouTube purging right now? Ooh, subs gone AWOL. Nice. And it's about Kent Hovind. I'll kind of dig that. Hell yeah. Thank you, Suit Kettle, for sharing that information with me. Kind of curious about Will Duffy. Will Duffy YouTube. Let me see here. Is that him? That's not him. Yeah, I may have to look him up. I have to track him down, see where he's at. See, like that. Send him thank you, Sue. Yeah, thank you, Sue. I have to send him like an email, see what's up, see if I can maybe get him on the channel sometime, because I'd really love to talk about that. Yeah, Tony, that seemed like a whole bunch of Cthulhu, of like H.P. Lovecraft references with a bunch of pop culture shit, like Star Trek and Stargate and other shit kind of like sprinkled in there. TFE, the final experiment. So let me see. The final countdown. I'm gonna get shut down if I keep doing that. The final experiment. 114 videos. Join the TFE Observation Army. Let me see here real quick. He has a website. Doesn't have, let me see if there's an email. Interviews, final experiment, like this. 31 FTFE, Jeranism, Veritas, Matters Now. Oh, there's interviews that they just did for that. Not seeing how to get in touch with him. So, or maybe it's at the bottom. I'll have to look into it. See if I can track it. Well, the final experiment 2024 at gmail.com. Does that email go directly to just don't worry about a copyright. The song has to be recognizable. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate that. Thank you. I guess I can just like shoot him an email. Probably should have done it sooner. Now that I'm kind of like thinking about it. But anyway, how are y'all doing? I'm assuming that goes directly to Will, right? So kind of hoping. See if anybody actually, let me pull that up real quick. One of those moments where you just get to see me because I have no plan and I'm just kind of like chilling out, chillaxing. Did I get a... Nope. What a shame. What a bummer. Duffy, the famous, there's one called Duffy, the Famous Wing. It's about a chicken wing. Nice. Distilling my yearly batch of Applejack. Oh, awesome, Colorado biker. Very cool. And yeah, that should be good. If it goes to him, then he'll get it. And bam. Cool. We'll see what comes of it. He may not even respond to me. So don't tell JL. Yeah, Pablo Murphy. Is that a life-size mannequin of Jason Voorhees in the closet illuminated with green lighting? Yes, that is. Yes, that's Jason. From Friday the 13th, Part 7. It's a book. I was looking at famous Duffies. Oh, okay. So, yeah, send him an email. I don't know when he might respond, but if he does, I'll try and set something up. I think that would be a good conversation to have. I think it would be cool. Well, I'm at a loss. Like, I don't have much else to chat about. I was hoping some of the more like angrier people would pop into the live chat, and maybe some of the people who commented on my stuff and bring up their questions. I thought that would be interesting. But nonetheless, I didn't really have anything planned to go out with a big bang in 2020, kind of like give 2024 a big send off. Unlike last year, there was a bunch of stuff to talk about. Plus, I also had guests, so this was just me kind of like chilling out, hanging out. I know it's been, for many people, it's been a really, really rough year. This has not been a great year, I think, for pretty much anybody. It's just been kind of an ugly year. A lot of division, a lot of just kind of chaos. Oh, well, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, there is something kind of personal that I kind of like wanted to address. Now that we're coming to the end of the year. And I guess I can kind of like close it out on this. Now that we had some fun, had some stupid fun, looked at some silly stuff. So if it's one thing I don't like, something that really grinds my gears, there's one thing I really don't like is unnecessary division, especially in this community. In the what was we've referred to as the debunking community, the rationalist community, evidence community, science communication community, whether it's Simon Dan or FTFE or Team Skeptic or myself or Reds, or like, Logic or whatever. In this community where there are the common themes of evidence, rationality, and intellectual honesty, all this stuff that's going on. Whether they're political leanings or whatever like this, I have seen a pretty steady focus on what is important for this community and for the people in this community. What I don't like seeing is, you have to excuse me for being frank, is unnecessary bullshit causing completely unnecessary divisions within this community. Science, communication, rationalism, intellectual honesty, these are not denominations. Okay? And I think that while people are entitled to their opinions because they're their own, that of all the people that do this shit, that should be aware of how unnecessary that kind of like fucking like that kind of fucking drama is, it should be this community. And unnecessary drama does nothing but harm the efforts of everybody that we're doing this, that are deeply invested in doing this. Because one, it creates division that's not necessary, which interferes with the free exchange of ideas. Two, for more than two reasons. Two, it inadvertently creates echo chambers, which we don't want, because we start ostracizing other people instead of talking about what's fucking important. And the reason that people are ostracizing others is just bullshit. And it drives larger creators away from smaller creators. One of the big steps, obviously, one of the big things that, I would say one of the big most successful tactics for smaller channels is to have a larger channel support you, okay, or to give you a shot or give you a shout out, like Simon Dan did with STST. Okay, that helps a lot when a much larger channel, believes in what you're doing and shouts out your channel and gives you that kind of leg up. That's very helpful. I've seen Simon Dan do it for others. Team has done it for others. Team did it for me. FTFE has done it for others. People helping out other people. But when big whale channels see other smaller channels that are building up, fucking around about inconsequential nonsense, their channels are businesses. Okay? And those businesses don't want to be associated with that drama, because that drama distracts from the business at hand, which is the communication of these ideas, like science communication, rationality, intellectual honesty, shit like that. I myself don't like getting involved because for a number of reasons. One, it detracts away from the message. And then if you get involved and you try to like come to somebody's aid, then you're white knighting, or if you don't like this, whatever like that. But I will call it out when I see it. Personal shit, personal opinions, whatever. And I'm not naming names. I've seen it before. It happened. I'm not going to lie. It happened with the Four Beardsmen. Not with us individually, but with drama outside of us. And I ultimately think that was kind of like a tipping point that ultimately led to the Four Beardsmen not doing the regular thing that we used to do. I think drama got in the way of that and disrupted that. And that was really annoying to me. So the drama is unnecessary, especially channels that are not like designed for the lulls, just for the lulls. Like the Irish Demons channel is for the lulls. That's what Irish Demon does. It's not like my channel where it's not for the lulls. The lulls are there to try and make sure I don't get too maudlin talking about deep topics. Okay, so we can at least enjoy ourselves and have fun. But I've seen this shit recently, and I've seen the fallout of this shit recently. And people who are involved may know who I'm talking about. I've experienced some of it myself, but not to an extreme degree. But we don't need it. And to allow personal fucking nonsense or your personal own hangups get in the way of what we're all trying to do you do more harm than you do good. Like I said, I'm not naming names on this. I know people can point out, wherever they might see that, but it's up to us, the content creators. It's up to us, the hosts of these channels. And we don't need that bullshit. In the kind of vein of this channel, it's about bridging the divide on that. There's already enough division. We don't need to create it ourselves over fucking opinions, or whatever, or like semantics. It's fucking stupid. And the people who do that deliberately, I would hazard they know they're doing it. And they're fucking stupid for doing it. Okay? Who deliberately go out of their way to make other people's lives miserable, to profit on the misery of others. That's some First Amendment frauditor shit. That's some frauditor shit. That's some fucking flurf shit. Okay? To profit on the misery of others. And I'm not for it. When you're deliberately causing drama for the clicks and the views, yeah, it's not necessary. What's up, Annie? Good to see you. So I'm not diving into that fray. I'm not. But I know, there are people out there who know we're all adults. I don't need to white knight for anybody. The people that I'm talking about, they can take responsibility for what they've done. And the people who've been victims of that, they don't need me to defend them. They don't. Okay? But we don't need that shit at all. So I would say going into 2025, if we can put that unnecessary subjective nonsense aside and not get hung up on semantic bullshit, where someone's take on something may be slightly different, and we're not going to take fucking offense, like grievous offense at something just because they didn't do it the way that we think that they should have done it. Do you know how often I listen to Planet Peterson's work, and he gets involved with some precept or some idiot that he's talking to on TikTok, and I'm sitting there screaming at the phone, I'm shaking the phone, no, say this. This is the answer to that. This will shut down that. This will shut him down immediately. But he goes on. I'm not going to email him and bitch. You're not doing it. It's his fucking channel. He can do it his way. I may disagree with it, but that's because it's not my style. Planet Peterson can have his style. Logic can have his. Simon Dan can have his. Other people can have their fucking styles and use their own terminology and the shit that they're comfortable with. It's their channel. When people work against one another, it weakens all of us. Because it weakens the people that you're going after, because it hurts their opportunities to grow. And it hurts you as well, because then the big channels that you may need to rely on to help boost your channel when you're trying to get over that next milestone, they won't be there because you've developed the reputation of someone who causes drama. So I would say going into 2025 that we cease that bullshit. Theists and flat earthers and First Amendment frauditors and sov sits and conspiratards and whatever. They can do that shit all they want. One of my favorite pastimes is watching theists thinking that when theists think there's no atheists around, and they will eat each other over their interpretations of their various books. This shit is hilarious. Okay? There's 40,000 plus denominations of Protestantism. There's 6 families of Christianity. Okay? There's multiple versions of Islam. People take these things in different directions. There are denominations in that because they're interpreting their feelings. It's different interpretations of what they feel to be true. That's not true in the evidence community. Okay? So let's not let personal bullshit get in the way of conveying information to the public. Okay? Your personal fee-fees, okay, about whoever happens to be speaking or the words that they choose to use that they're comfortable with don't fucking matter. The message that they're conveying is what matters across the board. Okay? And if there is a major problem, deal with it in email. Don't make it public, because you make yourself look like a fucking tool when you do it. an absolute chode who is more afraid and jealous than they are some activist warrior. Okay. So I think we can go. I think we can all go into 2025 being a little mindful of that. I saw it happen before. I see it happen. I mean, I've seen it happening, often and like once in a while, like that. I mean, you've seen. You can name some in the past. You can name some shit that went down in the past that was completely unnecessary. That was, when I boiled down to it and got both sides of it, realized this all comes down to basic misunderstandings. Okay, that people were not willing to look past. We don't need that shit. We need more inclusivity. So we need less division, because the division at the bottom just hurts us all. I feel like that was like the end of my masterpiece theater. It was my closing. There was the closing thoughts on Jerry's show. So, but yeah, I think that would be something we could all look forward to in 2020. We could all strive for in 2025. Help each other out. Raise each other up. Rising tide lifts all boats. Stop trying to poke holes in other people's boats for whatever subjective fucking reason you think there is. If they're out there lying, conning, grifting, yes, target that shit. Taking advantage of people, profiting on the misery of others. Those should be the targets, not each other for whatever stupid reason or whatever, like how someone looks, how someone talks, how someone approaches the camera. We're all different. It shouldn't matter as long as the information that they're conveying and the message that they're trying to put out there is something that needs to be heard. Getting hung up on semantics is bullshit. So, because that really kind of pissed me off when I heard about that. You know, people that I care about, getting the fucking shaft because other people lack the fundamental capacity to hold their shit. That's just me. I'll say that. Colorado Biker says, if there were a constitutional convention, what would you like to see done? If there were a constitutional convention, I would love to see the Second Amendment worded correctly. I would love to see that. Definitely see some adjustments to some things. I would like to see a little bit more. I'd like to see some changes to how states to a little bit more, or an amendment that brings the states a little bit more in line with the federal government, so that we don't have the federal government running into states and like raiding pot dealers and taking all their fucking money and their product just because they can. I'd like to see an amendment that focuses more on dictating the limitations and the responsibilities of local law enforcement at the state level. Love to see that. So term limits would be great. No electoral college would be fantastic. Bunch of stuff. So, I mean, there are a few things that I'd like to see. Number one, first and foremost, I mean, the number one thing. Oh, felons can't hold political office. That would be fantastic. That you're a felon. I would love to see that being a felon doesn't restrict you from voting, because just because you committed a crime in the past doesn't mean that you don't have the capacity to vote for your leaders, for your representatives. I think that's bullshit. I think felons should be able to vote. Absolutely. They have a voice and they should be recognized. They're citizens. Once they're out of prison and they've done their time, they're out on parole or they completed their sentence, they get the rights back. Okay, they're not second-class citizens. They're human beings, and they deserve every opportunity. They fucked up in the past. It happens. People fuck up. Okay, once they pay their debt, they're out. Done. Let them go on their lives. Let them vote. That needs ranked choice voting would be fantastic at a federal level. That would be great. I think ranked choice voting should be the system across the board. Money is not like revoking Citizens United would be fantastic. All kinds of stuff. Right to bodily autonomy. So many things. So many things we could put in there. That you need like 2/3 of the nation to agree upon. But yeah, Tony James says, enjoy the similarities and appreciate the differences between people, and you can't go far wrong. Absolutely. That's the key right there. That's the key right there. We all add our own flavors to it. Okay, my style is not for everyone. I get that. Some people prefer Logic to me. Some people prefer Professor Plink to Logic or me. Some people prefer Planet Peterson. Some people prefer, the Kentucky Atheist. There's so many good ones out there. I'm just one in a bunch. If you like my content, cool. If you don't like the way I present it, you don't have to watch. Okay? But we don't need to be attacking each other or like, going to others and trying to like align people against others. It's fucking bullshit. It's a waste of goddamn time. Ultimately, it's just going to wind up hurting the people that do it. And it's going to wind up hurting obviously it hurts the people who are victimized by it. It's going to wind up hurting the people who are doing it in the long run, because eventually we won't want to fucking deal with them anymore. Okay? And there are people out there, if they keep doing it, if my channel were to suddenly blow up, they won't be getting a hand up for me, but the people who don't, the people who work together, definitely will if I get that opportunity. You can guarantee it. So I would say, Robert Biter, felons can't own firearms. How could that be argued a bad idea? I would say that just that once they get out of prison, that they need to undergo specific testing. I'm for heavy gun regulation. I am not for abolishment of guns. I am for heavy gun regulation. The people who own them, the citizens, the citizenry, the untrained, undisciplined citizenry that Hamilton was talking about in the Federalist Papers, those individuals need to go through rigorous testing and training before they can own them. And they need to renew that certification probably every 3 years. I would say 3 years to maybe 5 years. I would say probably 3. I agree with 3. Every 3 years, because eyesight can change. You need to keep up with your prescriptions. Keep up with your training. Keep up with your discipline. All shit like that. I think I'm for gun regulation, big time gun regulation. Because I'm sorry, we're at the point we have an epidemic of gun violence in this country. I'm for gun regulation. The people who should not have guns are having access to guns. We need to stop that. Psychological examination goes into it as well. But I believe that if a felon passes rigorous psychological and psychological stuff, yeah, then they should. They should be allowed to. They're citizens. Once they're out, once they've paid their debt to society, maybe when they're on parole, or probation, maybe that could be a thing that bars them from owning one. But once they're done, they can have it back. I got no problem with that. Raven Darkster says, what is ranked choice voting? So ranked choice voting is very, very interesting. Probably best to find a diagram of it. Ranked choice voting is a system, also called instant runoff voting. Okay, so I think this diagram will work best if I do this. Not that. So you can have a good idea as to what it looks like. Back. So ranked choice voting. So that would essentially be like your election ballot. You have your candidates, okay, all of your candidates, and you would rank them as to who you would vote for, who you want the most, who you want next, and who you want third. Okay, so it makes elections better by allowing voters to rank candidates in order of preference. Ranked choice voting is straightforward. Voters have the option to rank candidates in order of preference, first, second, third, and fourth, and so on. If your first choice doesn't have a chance to win, your ballot counts for your next choice. It works in all types of elections, supports more representative outcomes. RCV means better choices, better campaigns, and better representation. One of the primary things seen in Maine when they instituted RCV in Maine was that muckraking campaigns ceased to exist. Hit ads were no longer being produced. So like toxic political advertisements didn't see any air, which was great. It's the fastest growing voting reform in the nation. We definitely need it. So ranked choice voting, no party voting, ranked choice. Everybody gets on the list. So if you got 10 candidates, you would go to vote and there would not be any selection like only these two. No. We would look at like all the people who threw their hat in. So like think back in 2020, all the Democrats that were in the field. Okay, or 2016, all the Democrats that were in the field. Then you rank them all. Boom, 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 boom. And who you want first. And you would rank them out. Okay? So that way, if your first selected candidate doesn't there's no chance, okay, because they're way at the bottom, then your vote still counts for your second person. So nobody's throwing away votes. Your voice is still heard, and it's heard because it's more evenly distributed, because you get that actual representation. Instead of people being forced to vote for someone just to keep someone else out, someone, inclined to not vote at all because they hate either candidate. Ranked choice voting is a way for everybody to have their voice heard and be represented at the ballot box. So yes, Raven Darkster, yes, it's a very good system. So promotes more people, and it promotes more people running. It does. It's a fantastic system. I don't know why we do it. We don't do it at the federal level. We need to do that. Robert Biter says that sounds like our mixed members parliament. I think very similar. And really brings up RCV has its problem, like the arrow impossibility theorem. The arrow impossibility theorem. Arrow's impossibility theorem is a key result in social choice theory, showing that no ranking-based decision rule can satisfy the requirements of rational choice theory. That no such rule can satisfy all. Oh, so it's kind of like, okay, so no such rule can satisfy all of a certain set of seemingly simple and reasonable conditions that include independence of irrelevant alternatives. The principle that a choice between two alternatives, A and B, could not depend on some quality of the third unrelated option, C. Most often cited and discussed in discussions of voting rules. I'll have to look further into it. I get what it's talking about, but I think but despite that, I think that RCV is a better system than our current two-party system that we have going on. So I would say, despite that, we should move to the better system. At least to move to a better system. I think we can be in agreement on that, really. Skooma Cat, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here, and you have a fantastic new year. Thank you. As long as political parties control the process, then we'll have 10 Republicans, 10 Democrats running for the same office. It wouldn't be useless because all their names would be on the ballot, and then the ranking will come out and do its job. So even with the parties there, you're still ranking those, and you're not having you still have the two parties, but you wouldn't have the DNC or you wouldn't have the Democrats or the GOP dictating who you're going to vote for. You choose who you're going to vote for and who you're going to rank. So taking the decision out of people's hands is the problem. And that's what they do when we have a whole slate of possibilities and they choose one person out of all of it. No. Like when they do the DNC, when they do like they do a primary, we don't need to do that anymore. Everybody throws their hat in and then everybody ranks it up based upon their performances or whatever, and they'll be more engaged, more debates, more interviews, more talking about deals because they have to rank better than everybody else. So everybody's working. So instead of attacking one another, because if you attack everybody, you're just going to come off like a dick while everybody else is talking about policies. The incentive is to talk about policies and actual change that you can do. So ultimately, it would still work. We would take that choice out of the hands of two parties and put it back in the hands of the people. That's true. They could still overwhelm any outside group like any independent party. But then again, if the Democrats do that, it depends upon how many people want to throw their name in the hat. Because some independent people may perform better than some Democrats. They get the opportunity. They just may not have the money. That depends upon where the money's coming from. But that, again, is another thing like getting the money out of politics and shit like that. So that's like one more problem that we have to... Because imagine getting all the money out of politics and then doing ranked choice voting. Everybody's got to fund their own fucking campaigns. Bam. Good to go. Mm-hmm. So you can vote for who you think is more trustworthy. Right. If the name is there, they will get votes. If they're on there, that's the ranking of it. Even if there's 10, everybody, there's going to be a voice heard. Okay? There'll be a voice heard. Even if there's like 20, all 20 are going to be repped. And your voice will count because you ranked them. That's the beauty of it. It's a better system than what we currently have. So, well, that being said, and I got my little kind of like message that I wanted to talk about outside of this whole thing that was kind of personal to me going into 2025. But I think that's pretty much all I got. We kind of dwindled down a little bit. It's quieting off a little bit. I know I got to take the dogs out here shortly and probably get back to work on more content. I don't think I'm gonna have a video available before the end of the year. I think the next one's going to be out. Next one's going to be done in January, so that'll be my first video in January. So hopefully, very soon, very quickly, if I maintain this push, because December just freaking exhausted me. Getting all that shit out there, writing, recording, editing, plus all the runaround of the holidays. So that just really kind of like ate my lunch. So but I don't think I need to take any recovery time. I think I'm good to go. I think I'm going to keep pushing to try and push to the 10K, and then I'll probably kind of relax a little bit once I hit 10K. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I'd love to do that. Going on 2.5 hours. That's right. 2.5 hours, just my ugly mug looking at you. So I appreciate you tolerating it. So yeah, this is going to be it. This will be the last live stream for 2024, and this is it. The last content for 2024 on this channel. It is December 30th. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve, and then we plunge into 2025 and the chaos that no doubt is awaiting us. Who knows what the year's gonna have in store for us? This wasn't a great year. There were some good moments, but some peak moments in 2024. But overall, not a great year. Just not. Hopefully, I mean, we can fingers crossed. I don't have, like I said, I don't operate on faith. To call back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show, I don't fall on faith. I don't have much confidence in 2025 is going to be much better, but we can definitely work to try and make it that way, So thank you all very much to everybody here. Thank you for all the super chats and the super thanks. You guys rocked. And all the new memberships as well. Everybody, if you got a new membership tonight, please enjoy the custom emojis I made for you and all that other cool stuff. You guys rock. This has been an amazing year. As far as my year goes, it's been some pretty awesome growth. Had my highest viewed video, which was the Fundy claims atheism is scientifically impossible one. That's like almost 18,000 views in that one, which is really badass. And just seeing good, steady stuff. And plus you guys likes and dislikes. The like-dislike ratio and all my stuff is just fantastic. You guys rule. Thank you for the interactions there. I love seeing 548 likes and 3 dislikes. It's freaking awesome. So, or maybe this, what was this other one? That was one of my faves. What was that? It was 1,100 likes with 22 dislikes. You guys rock. You guys rule, This, yeah, Javers, this is live. Good to see you, Javers. And I think I saw somebody else popping in as well. Yeah, Scuba Cat. I said hi, Scuba Cat. And N-A-N-A. Good to see you. Good to see you. But this has been an amazing year. So currently right now sitting at, looks like 8,781, slowly closing in on 9,000. Hopefully I'll get there soon. And I just want to get to 10. That's a big goal in 2025 is to get to 10K. And I can do it with your help because you all rock for all your support, So let's plunge into this new year. Have fun at your New Year's Eve parties. Drink responsibly if you're going to be drinking, or chillax and watch the ball drop. Or hey, if you got to work, just crash, go to sleep. Doesn't really matter. It's a cultural thing. But I hope your individual years are a hell of a lot better than 2024 was. I know maybe you had a good 2024, but I hope 2025 is even better. I think it'll be as good as we make it. So look forward to new content here and more live streams. Got a new stage of reason coming up on January 19th. If I remember correctly, if I check my calendar. Yes, January 19th, next stage of reason. You'll see it pop up if you got the notifications turned on. And that'll pretty much be it. So happy New Year from Bridge the Divide. Thank you all so much. You guys rock. It's been an absolute pleasure just hanging out with you, doing a kind of chill thing. And, be safe, be excellent to each other. And together we can bridge the divide. See you next year. Such a silly joke.